Welcome back to another episode of Those Other Guys. Sitting here with Dom. Just been a couple of weeks. I don't even know what episode we're on anymore.
I think 19, 18, 18, 19.
Oh, and it's funny because it's been a lot longer, like week-wise, because we missed so many.
Yeah, so it's not like weeks anymore.
Right.
Like it was like week 16, whatever, but now it's like months.
Yeah, a month or just episode.
It's okay. I might have a permanent spot, though.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Don't jinx it.
No, it's right up the street, actually.
Oh, nice.
They record a podcast there already. Oh. And I was going to see if they'd be cool with like paying them like a recording fee or something.
That'd be cool.
So we'll see what goes on with that. Because the reason why this gets delayed is because we can only use this place on Saturdays.
Right.
And so either you're doing something or I have a show, and then like something's wrong, right? And then we don't end up being able to record because we can't be like, oh, what are you doing during the week?
Right. Yeah, and this is one of the, especially it's what, a half hour, 35 minutes from me.
This place is far from you.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a hike, but it's worth it. What's been up, dog? Not much. Good, because I want to talk. So,
can you start with Dylan's wedding?
That's what. So this all ties in, right? It all ties in. The wedding was like, I don't want to say like the cliche was like a movie, because I was living it, but as stuff was happening, I was seeing like scenes from like movies, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I could see that, where they're like pouring the champagne and sparklers are going off behind them. It's a champagne fountain, right? The glass fountain or whatever. From that to the chapel was some old slave chapel, probably, because it was on a plantation.
Legit, that place was an old plantation.
It's called Palmetto Bluffs. It's 20,000 square acres.
What?
It's bigger than Manhattan. So when you turn into the place, when you literally like are on the main road, you're passing other homes, businesses, whatever. It's like, turn left here. You turn left. It says your destination is in 7 miles. That's when you enter the property.
So then it's just 7 miles of like farmland.
No, it's swamp, fucking woodsy, Spanish moss hanging from everything. It was fucking dope. And you basically are going through the woods. Most people are on golf carts or bikes because you can only drive to get it valeted.
Okay.
And then from there, they have shuttles
that take you.
Dude, they had like Escalades as shuttles. And then they had anytime you wanted to call, hey, can I get a shuttle to the main room or whatever, they'd come on a 4 or 6 person golf cart and take you there. So it started, we got there. We hit a little workout. We went to breakfast. Our room was ready. We went and they got us we were in this cottage, essentially. You'd walk in. It's just one room with a dope setup though, and a balcony looking over a river or a creek or whatever. And there's crocodiles in there, legit, and or gators. Sorry, crocodiles are saltwater. Gators in there, and you could see them on the banks and shit. It was nuts. And then the first night we got there, though, we went to Dylan's parents for like a little get-together party, which was beautiful and awesome. And then we went to the place, got a little lift in with Josh and Andrew and Morgan. We all lifted in the morning in the little thing. And it was so funny because we moved a bench, and like the personal trainer, fitness trainer in there was like some 60, 80-year-old lady. And she's like, make sure you move that bench back because they're really heavy. And I was just like, why the fuck are you talking to me during a set? So I was like, yeah, of course we will. Like, duh, you know.
It's just seen a meathead in 30 years.
Exactly. So it was funny in that aspect, but I mean, it was so classy. I took my my testosterone shot, and we were on our way, and I took a picture of it just to be funny, and I was going to send it to the boys and be like, I'm ready to fucking go. Like, right. And I just had it right on the counter, and the wrapper from the jaw syringe was still on the table. When I got back, because they cleaned the place like 3 times a day, when I got back, it was all organized and the wrapper was gone, but the needles were like perfect. Like, it was hilarious, but that's how like classy it was. Every worker there was Jamaican, so they didn't give a fuck if you smoked weed. It was dope. And like, they just had amazing spots. They have like 10 tree houses on the property.
I saw like a 5-story one you guys went up,
which was nuts. Absolutely nuts. And the view you could just see forever. And it was awesome because rivers in Michigan are like I don't want to say small, but they're
wide.
not super wide. These rivers, they built bridges over them, like mile long construction bridges. That's how big it was. Just wild to see because it's so different than here.
Yeah.
And it was just, you could tell it was like swampland.
Man.
And my parents came too. They were there. They were staying in Hilton Head though. So there was like a 20-minute drive or 30-minute drive to where we were at. And they came and visited, and they obviously went to the wedding and the reception. The wedding was awesome. The reception after was incredible. And then after the reception, we went to a bar, and it was a speakeasy.
Oh.
And you had to go downstairs, and there was an elevator downstairs, and then you stopped in this room that's no bigger than this room. And there was a mirror here and a mirror here. And you're like, what the fuck? And then if you looked at the bottom, you could see there was a cut on one of the mirrors. And you open the door and you go in to one of the coolest bars I've ever been to. It was like this, right? With all the wood on the ceiling, but it was still painted like wood.
Okay.
And it was, just a little classy like jazz bar. Two bartenders, very small bar, but it was dope. They had a great espresso martini, and we were all just hanging out in there. And like I said, it was like a movie because there'd be a s'mores cart all of a sudden at the end of the night. Like, hey, there's a s'mores cart. If you head downstairs, there's 2 fires. You can chill and roast marshmallows. You look over, they bringing out like boats of sushi, like on barrels. And then putting sushi down. I had to give a speech, which I'll forever regret not shitting on Dylan Moore. Right before I go up, right, he starts the thing, classy as fuck, of course. He's thanking everybody for coming. We're going to have a couple people speak real quick. Keep in mind, one of them's Clark, and he's horrible at reading, so bear with him. And that's how he started it. And then his friend, or Jenna's friend, goes up, and now I'm in my head going, how the fuck do I spin this? How do I shit on him, right? And it sent me into a panic because I was already nervous, and it ended up being all right. But I'll forever keep thinking of shit I should have said.
Yeah.
I should have walked up there and been like, damn, Dylan's looking really tall today. And that's the one that is off the top of my dome. That
I'm surprised you didn't say that.
Dude, I was pressured. So if it were just me and him, it would have been way different. But it was probably 100 people, just standing around.
Yeah.
So, but they had a cool setup. They stood right there, so I was actually talking to them too. Where Joe's wedding was on a 2-tiered platform in front of 250 people, and I'm standing up with a microphone. That was very nerve-wracking. But
so you didn't have to do a best man speech at the reception.
Just a good
rehearsal.
Just a good man speech. Yep.
Okay.
The best man speech was the next day. I was just a good man. No, but so that was the rehearsal dinner, and a bunch of people there, classy event again. Got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while, which was cool. Then the next day was the wedding and the reception, obviously. In the reception, they were pulling oysters out of the water and then making them and then serving them. They had boiled peanuts, which apparently is a Southern thing. It was pretty good.
Were they good?
It was weird, but it was pretty good, actually, yeah. And then they had awesome cocktails all night. And then, like I said, after that, we all got on an actual VW bus. So an actual...
the old school cylinder-looking one?
Yes. And not just the 2-seater, right? That, you can... The van... it was a legit VW bus, and it took us back, and everybody's wearing cowboy hats
that's
with
that
glow
picture.
sticks and
Okay.
shit. Yep. And that video was nuts, or that trip was nuts. And then from there, we all went to the speakeasy, had a great time. We were up late, and then drove 14 hours back home.
The next day?
The next day. Yeah. Woke up at 8, got on the road by 9, was home by midnight. It was crazy.
The drive was nice?
It was an awesome drive. I love driving. So it wasn't a big deal to me. There's nothing better than me. This sounds horrible, but it's smoking and driving. That's what this whole tattoo was pretty much about.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, that's my favorite thing. I just threw on a podcast, sat back, and I was going, bro, listening. Had Morgan.
You drove through the Appalachian Mountains? Because I've driven to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. So through the Smokies in fall.
Oh, yeah, Smokies.
Dude, it was spiritual.
Yeah,
it was
crazy.
legitimately eye-opening to the vastness, because there'd be a break on a bridge, right? Over another river. There'd be a break, and you just look to your right and left.
And it's just,
far as you can see is just
it's crazy.
Trees. Yeah. And it makes you feel small. It's very humbling, right?
Yeah.
Because those are treetops. So when you go up to them, you still have to look up.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, there's no fucking way there's still not people living in those woods. Just off the grid, living off the land in the woods.
I'm sure there are.
I'm positive there are.
There's the drive to Pittsburgh's nice. I do that yearly because of North Americans. That's a nice drive. We drove from Knoxville to Nashville, and that's a couple hour drive in Tennessee, and you drive through a mountain range there, and it's all elevated. So like when you're coming, I don't know if it's when you're coming out of Knoxville, you go down, or when you're going into Nashville, you go up. One of the two happens.
Right.
Ears start popping, and
dude.
like you feel the climb up, and it's cool because that's a nice area too, like Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You cross through Tennessee.
Yeah, you cross through Tennessee.
North
West
Carolina.
Virginia is really nice to drive through.
I can't remember if we drove through West Virginia. I think we
maybe it passed through
there's tollways,
and then there's
and then I think the free one doesn't go through West Virginia.
Okay.
It like avoids West Virginia. But it's only like 20 minutes slower.
Yeah.
To not pay $15. Like, oh, fuck that. And my dumbass will miss the toll anyway. So I'll end up paying extra because they're going to scan me going through. That's how it happens. Every time I go to Chicago, I miss the toll road. I'm like, I don't know which one to stop at. So yeah, it was fucking incredible. But so that leads me to like what I wanted to talk about, like your post, right? And what you were talking about in a way of like, can you grow? You can't grow in a bad environment. Bad environment, right? When I was there, like I assume, I don't know, but I assume I'm the friend sometimes in some friend groups where they're like, hey, Clark's gonna be there. If you don't know him, he kind of shoots from the hip, right? Like I have to imagine, because some of these people are just super classy, super nice.
Yeah.
A little bit opposite of me, right? So I got to meet Jenna's friends for the first time. And they were fucking amazing people. They were just wonderful people. And they're so sweet. And like, I know that I definitely would probably have some, probably, that's a contradiction, right? But I would probably have some conflicting ideas compared to them, right? And again, I shoot from the hip. I like to piss people off. So I was on my best behavior, obviously, with that, because Jenna is very important to me too. I see her as like an extension of Dylan, right?
Yeah.
And, I got to meet her best friend, who was fucking awesome. And it was like an honor to me because she was her maid of honor. And I got to walk down the aisle with her. But Andrew was the best man and gave the speech on the best man day. It was just weird how they did it, but it was like a little nod. And I appreciated that. And it was just so fun, like meeting a whole different group of people that I know think differently, but still accept somebody through like a mutual friend, right? So if Dylan likes you, then there's something there, right? Whether you shoot from the hip or not, there's got to be something there, because Dylan's a fucking amazing person. So it was like awesome getting that respect, right? And then obviously when they got to know me, it was, all good. But it was just cool because like I noticed and saw this, right? And like on a firsthand basis of meeting people, actually meeting people, seeing social cues, hearing the way they're talking versus a text, obviously, right? It was so much more powerful than like finally following somebody, right? Or following them and learning who they are and then meeting them to me. Because I was meeting them pretty much blind. I knew that they were Jenna's friends. Jenna's amazing. So I knew that they had to be sweet, sweet people, right? And of course they were. They were fucking wonderful, down to earth, salt of the earth type of people. And it was just cool because it made me realize, like, when you have the support of the people around you that truly matter, not these fucking thousands of followers, right? You can be whatever the fuck you want to be.
Yeah.
You can be whoever you're meant to be. Right? Whatever feels right to be, you can be that, because Dylan loves me, because Jenna loves me, because Morgan loves me, because you love me, because Josh loves me, right? Being around that this past like week and a half was just like so powerful, because it was a wild time for me too, because it was coming up
on your 1 year.
On the year. So it was like just eye-opening again, right? What really matters, because sure, we do these things, right, to try to get likes and comments and attention because it feels good. It's a dopamine rush. You're denying that it is if you think it isn't, right? And as good as that feels, man, like There is nothing better than that human connection, than knowing that human connection exists. And then that allows me to still be whoever the fuck I want to be on here, right? And I notice it because something popped in my head, right? The influencer. We obviously talk about it a lot, but what is it that you're actually influencing? Are you influencing anything? Because if your influence is to get somebody to buy a product that you have no money in, right? You just get a commission, you're an employee. You're not an influencer. An influencer influences somebody to live a certain way, influences somebody to go out and do something to better themselves, right? To me, the true definition of an influencer or creator. I hate this word creator now because nobody's creating shit. I see you do something, you get a bunch of likes, I'm going to do it. We're all just following a trend, right? The little dances. Not one person I know has created their own dance, but I know a lot of people that call themselves creators. And now if you want to, nitpick and call yourself a content creator, that's one thing. But I was around real creators this past week, real artists, real photographers that create pictures before they're taken, that direct people, because Jenna's a wedding photographer. She has to see something, because I noticed it a little bit when the wedding photographer's like stand in a V type of thing. And I'm like, what is she seeing, right? And then I look at the picture and I'm like, damn, that looks dope. We're all in our fucking tuxes just lined up. So like, to me, it's like awesome, right? We were talking about that. It's awesome. It's just drowned down. It's played out. These words no longer mean what they're supposed to mean, or what we come to have, or they've come to have taken a new meaning, right? And it's almost a lackluster meaning. Like, I don't want to be a creator because everybody's a fucking creator. And if everybody's a creator, then nobody's a creator, right? Everything equals nothing, right? Because if it's everything, it's nothing. Because if everybody has a dollar, that dollar don't mean shit. It's the fact that people don't have dollars that make that dollar worth something, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Supply and demand, 101. I failed economics 3 times because I hated the fucking class. But I learned some shit, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just crazy to me how this trend of unhappiness and depression and anxiety and stuff, and I'm beating a dead horse to the people that get it, right? But it will never make sense until it makes sense, until you take that break, until you surround yourself with people that love you and you realize you can be whoever you want to be. It just like, it was so fucking like revolutionary this past week in my life. And it wasn't anything new.
Yeah.
It was just the realization of what I had. I was surrounded by almost everybody I knew that I loved. And it was just incredible. There wasn't one fight, not one argument, not one, hey, you owe me, not one, hey, where, you know what I mean? Like, It was just so fucking beautiful. And it was universal momentum is what I believe in. God damn, was it there? Was it there? Was God there? Was Yahweh, Odin, whoever you fucking believe in, they were fucking there, man. It was, and to me, that's like what the real deal is, right? That human vibe. That's the collective, the consciousness. We were all vibing on one wave, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't play one slow song at their reception.
Like a slow dance?
Not
Nothing.
one. It was a party, a celebration. Jenna's father unfortunately passed, so he couldn't be there. And their little celebration hymn was awesome. They played like a rock song, and Dylan and Jenna started by opening up some beers. And then they're like, we invite the wedding party. So we all got up, and they never even told us this. We all got up, and they came out with platters of beer, and we all just started opening up beers and just chugging beers on the dance floor, and people were shotgunning them and shit. But it was so much fun. And then it was like, we invite everybody to come dance, and then it was just a party for hours. And it's just, we are fucking killing ourselves by trying to live through this shit. It's crazy to me. We should all be trying to get together every weekend, and fuck going out to the bar and spending money. Bro, let's get drinks and come over to a house, have a fire, music, dance, like just love each other, right? And I sound like a fucking hippity dippity loser right now, but this is truly who I am. This is truly how I believe. I might come off cynical, but that's only because I've been hurt so much. It's like better to just cut it before it hurts me. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I see this, realize I'm speaking on this because I used to want to be an influencer. I used to want, and let's stop calling it influencer. Let's call it lazy motherfuckers. Lazy motherfuckers, because you know what it really is? It's people that don't want to get a 9 to 5, right? It's people that don't want to work. You're not an influencer. You don't think that you can influence people. You don't want to work. You see, you can buy a $2,000 camera and video record all your workouts. And if you wear less clothes, guess what? You get sponsorships. Why wouldn't you do that? But call it what it is. You just don't want to work. And then to say being an influencer is work is laughable. It's fun as fuck. It ain't work. You can do that and have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But no, you don't. Have you seen these Amazon influencers? I just learned about this.
I've never seen that.
The storefront, you can be an Amazon influencer, and all you do is post what you buy on Amazon. What? So you are now, I don't even know if they give you a commission. If they give you commission, dope. But like you're literally, hey Dom, I bought this fucking mug. It keeps your coffee extra warm. Buy it, because I use it. And people are going, okay. Now, is that influencing, or are you just an employee?
You're an employee.
You're an employee, bro.
That doesn't change somebody's life.
Fuck no.
An influencer changes somebody's
Fuck
life.
no. That shit, it was crazy because I've been thinking about it nonstop. It's like almost caused me anxiety thinking about this, right? Because it's like, what the fuck are we doing? And everybody knows it. Deep down, you know it.
Yeah.
Deep down, anybody that would sit across from us knows it, right? But we don't want to accept it because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on 5,000 views and 400 likes. Why would I want to do that? That dopamine hit is like a high, bro. You know, the people that go on Instagram and don't post and just view shit, they're probably happy as fuck, man.
Yeah.
They're probably happy as fuck because they can disconnect from it.
Well, they use it for what it is, media.
Exactly. And now, on one hand, I look at it like, how do you not participate? It's fun to participate too, right? Like, why have it if you're not going to participate? Because I see people with like 7 posts because they delete all their posts to keep their number down. Because that's cool now?
I don't understand
I
that.
don't get it either, but it's like,
I know people like that.
I've deleted old posts that I don't believe in no more, or posts, and like I've left some up too to make sure that I'd never forget how dumb I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know, man. It's just, I've said it, I've beaten a dead fucking horse, but like everybody needs like that spiritual thing once in a while just to break you out. Cause I was looking at screens, I was taking pictures and stuff, but it was more because I never want to forget that shit. I have a bad memory. I never want to forget. It would be a picture, a couple pictures, a couple poses, boom. I wasn't even texting nobody. I wasn't really sending them out. At the end of the night, I might have posted them on Instagram and shit, but it wasn't like, it was just a
It's not
celebration.
the first thing you're thinking of.
Oh man, I wasn't taking pictures to make sure that everybody that follows me saw it.
Yeah.
That wasn't at all. And so that I can look back at them and be like, damn, that was so dope, you know? And again, lucky enough to be surrounded by so many people that I've known and loved for years, but it was spiritual, man. It was legit. It was like my tribe, right? There are a couple pieces missing, but like other than that, man, it was just fucking spiritual. I've been thinking differently. I've been reacting differently since, you know, and I think that's something too. Is like we don't want to say how often we change, right? It's scary. Oh, I think differently than I did last week. People, can you stand on anything? Right? Do you ever?
But why do you have to be married to one thing?
Right, but a lot of people, that's a thing, right? Like a lot of people take pride in believing the one thing, staying on that side. I'll never break. I'll never falter from what I believe in.
Yeah, I guess. But I feel like if you're not willing to do that,
I agree.
You'll never get anywhere.
But we're, cut from that cloth.
So you were with people, Jenna's friends, that
We're probably
were
opposite
probably
in
opposite,
in
right?
so many different ways.
Quentin, do you know Quentin? He lives on the west side of the state. Bodybuilder, poses a lot.
Maybe, I'm sure if I saw
He has
his
dreads.
page.
Maybe if you saw his page.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he was at Steven's wedding. We had Steven's wedding a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking. And he does like a lot of speaking to underprivileged kids And like, that's like one of his things that he does. And he doesn't talk about it, doesn't post about it. He was telling me this. And he said something to me that I have literally not stopped thinking about. And it was that we have to, as people, have to stop, what was it? Like, if somebody has an opinion on something that you don't agree on, you have to not respond in a reaction to it. You have to be able to see through their eyes how they were raised,
Yes.
what they're surrounded by, because their opinion might not be influenced by anything you believe in, because you have to be able to see life through their eyes to understand why they might think that way. Because that's where like I think like a lot of issues arise from.
100%.
You have an opinion on something, I have an opinion on something. I have an opinion on something because of something that happened 15 years ago that is hard for me to change, right? Or something I truly believe in, and vice versa, right? And I think that's like a big thing where like we jump the gun a lot, where we don't give people the chance because we don't take a step back and look at life through their eyes, through how they were raised, how they function day to day, what they're surrounded by day to day.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing that I would like to start doing like a lot more with people.
Put yourself in their shoes.
Put myself in their shoes and be like, okay, this is probably why they think this way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have to accept that, right? That's where I want to start getting better at.
I heard something that's very interesting because it pertains to that a little bit is anytime you're having a disagreement, like let's say just coffee, for instance, right? What do we agree on first? And then think about the one thing that we did. Okay, so we agree coffee's good. Okay, so we both know we're coming from a place of passion because we like coffee. Okay. We both like Starbucks. Sure. We both like caffeine. All right, so now we're narrowing this down.
You're narrowing it down.
How much
further.
do we disagree on?
Yeah.
We only disagree on pumpkin spice
versus chestnut praline. Like,
come on, it ain't that big of a deal, man.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I thought about that and just like, holy fuck, how many arguments and shit would be just squashed,
dissolved
just
into nothing.
Squashed, just simply because you're like, hold on. Okay, so we're disagreeing on this, but you like this, right? Okay. You agree that they should have rights, right? Okay. You agree. Okay. So now what do we just disagree on this? Okay. Then I can see why, because you do this, right? Like you're saying, step in their shoes. I can see why you think that.
Yeah.
It would squash so much, but we've lost that because we all act like we're in a car all the time. We all just spurt. Me included, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, one thing about me is I'm talking from experience only. That's all I have in life is experience, right? So I know the dumb shit I've fired from the hip off of and like realize I'm in the car doing the same thing going, I would not be saying that to them in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody cuts you in front of the line at the grocery store, what do you say? Hey, the line's back there. You don't go, you motherfucker, what the fuck, right? But in your car, you might be doing, yeah. So it's crazy how different life can be if you take a step back first from reacting. Just, I tell Sally that all the time. I'm like, bro, you know how many arguments me and you would not be in if you just took a deep breath? Because Sally likes to argue, and then
agree.
come back to what we said initially. And it's so fucking funny. We were talking about it last night. He's like, I love arguing with you. I'm like, I do too. It's fun because we both know we love each other.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, there's no love lost. He can be who he wants to be around me. If he wants to be a contrarian and say I'm wrong on shit, then so be it, right? If I want to call him deaf and be, so be it. It's all love. It's just jokes, right? I don't know. We've lost that human connection so bad. I see it working retail. The way people talk to people. And a guy just come in having a conversation right here. And then there's like a check-in spot and the guy goes, can I see your license just to check in? Are you shopping?
Yeah.
And the guy that he was checking in just starts screaming, what? To interrupt the conversation going on here. And we both stop. He's like, I can't hear him. like, there's such a better way of going about that. And then there's shopping. So where you go, or where if you come to my store and you're shopping, somebody will come around and take you around shopping. I stood right up and told everybody, I go, I got this one. I go right out in the lobby. I go, you gonna scream again? I go, are we gonna be cordial? Because you're not going back there if we're screaming. He's like, no, I'm good. Let's go. It's just like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Entitlement, sir.
And he's one of the people, I guarantee you, he's called liberal snowflakes in his life. But he's the most fragile of them all. Somebody can't have a conversation next to you? You fucking fragile piece of shit. You fragile piece of shit, man. It's so funny to me. It is so funny because I work and live in fucking hillbilly Michigan red state territory. Michigan is a red state. People can think what they want. Outside of Lansing and Detroit,
Grand Rapids.
dude, Michigan is as red as the fucking Red Sea. It's crazy. And there's a guy, the random, but I'm driving somewhere and he has 100 flags for sale. And he's out there every Saturday and Sunday sitting out there selling the flags. And they're all Trump flags. He knows his market. He probably makes hundreds of dollars a weekend. It's fucking hilarious to me because
Where's the store?
It's not a store. It's on a fucking turn.
No. Where's the...
This is going to like Holly, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
He's on the side of the fucking road.
Oh my God.
Yes. He's on the side of the road and he just sets him up. One time I was going by early and he was just setting them up still. And it's crazy, but he's out there every weekend selling flags.
He probably sells out every week.
Fuck Joe Biden flags, Trump 2024. There's like one Joe Biden against Trump flag, just in case you're that guy.
guy.
Hey, but that's how you know he's a businessman.
Yeah.
Who knows what his political affiliation? All he does is sit out there.
He probably doesn't even vote.
He literally sits out there with one of those foldy chairs and just reads a book.
He probably doesn't even vote.
Probably doesn't even vote, dude.
He's like, I'm making money. Fuck you guys.
Money. A couple extra $100 a
Cash.
weekend. Yeah.
Uncle Sam ain't seeing
For
that.
sure. No.
Selling government flags. Uncle Sam is not getting his.
Probably makes them motherfuckers, dude. It's all under the radar.
Oy.
He's probably one of those woods people I was talking about living in the woods, dude. Man, yeah, it just... I don't want, I want to move on because, you know, I could talk about this for fucking days now, but I think people need to really just try to connect with humans again, you know, like emotionally sitting in front of you, having conversations, disagree with people.
So, sorry.
No.
Matt Berzicott, he's part of like Camp Jansen. I've gotten pretty close to him and another one of Camp Jansen's guys, Justin Jacoby. Anyways, I had a conversation with Berzicott yesterday. We were just on the phone for a while, talked, shoot the shit, whatever. And then at the end of the conversation, I looked at my phone. I was like, damn, we were on the phone for like an hour and a half. And he's like, man, isn't it nice to just... He said this to me. He's like, man, isn't it nice just to get on the phone and just talk to somebody?
Right.
And I was like, yeah. I was like, especially in our day and age, like it's always like, if I see my phone ringing, it's like, man, what the fuck do they want? What do they want? Right? They want something. That's why they're calling. Right? But that was like a conversation that it was like, what are you doing, dude? How's work? Chilling? What are you doing today? What you got going on? It wasn't like, yeah.
It's like this.
Like this.
I love this every weekend. I love just getting to talk to you because you're one of my favorite people in the world. So just hearing about your week is enough, you know?
And it's like, that's so lost because that's literally what I said to him. I was like, man, I can't believe you said that. I was like, most people now it's a call and it's like, hey man, can you help me with this? What would you do in this situation? Like, oh, I got a text message from somebody. When I see text now, I'm like, fuck man. Like, what do they need help with now? Like, it's not ever, hey, what are you doing?
Another thing that I picked up on too is gratitude, like that, like him saying, right, like, how nice is it?
Yeah.
Thank you for being able to talk to me for an hour and a half about this shit, right?
Yeah.
It's just nice hearing somebody appreciates your time, right? And that was another thing that was going around rampantly during last weekend was just like, thank you for the invite. I'm so happy you're here, right? I'm so happy you got to come. It just hearing that repeatedly and not
I gotta move.
Yeah. And it wasn't just in like, you know, one of those like gym encounters where you just say the next thing, right? You know what's coming up.
Yeah.
Just trying to be like you, bro. Like, you know, just saying that's the one.
This is the one.
So it was nice to like see that genuine appreciation from humans, and just I hope people tune in right there just to see you pick it up and go right back down. But yeah, that giving gratitude, right? I was telling a lot of people, hey, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to see you. Like, thank you for inviting me. All that stuff too, right? Like, giving gratitude feels good. Seeing somebody smile because you're thanking them for your presence is like a wonderful treat for humans. There's these little rewards that we don't have anymore. How awesome is a comment that says like good shit, right? It's whatever at this point. It's like the next thing, you know, it's coming from some people, right? Like very few, like Julian, when Wizards of Iron comments, I love it because he's a genuine dude. He talks to me outside of just my posts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know when he comments on something, it's genuine. It's from the heart. He really is like a fan of mine, which is crazy. And I'm a fan of his, right? That's what friends are. Friends, I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of Dylan's. I'm a fan of Jenna's, right? And it's just when you think of it as that, I'm a fan of this person. Celebrate them. Cheer for them. It feels fucking good to see your friends happy. And we're just so selfish. We all want the followers. I know people that won't share their friends because they have more followers, right? But they'll comment on their shit or they won't, you know, it's just so petty. It's such a competition. And that's not really life. Life isn't really that competitive against your peers. You're supposed to, we're supposed to be competitive together. We're supposed to conquer the world together.
I told Mike a couple weeks ago, we were talking about like, just
I really like him.
Yeah.
I really
just
like
the future. And so like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about just the future and growth, and he's young, he's 22. And I told him, I said, no person has ever reached the tip of a mountaintop alone.
I believe it. Yeah, it's always an exploration.
It's an exploration of a group of people.
Maybe Wim Hof. He might have done a solo mission or two,
but
he's not a human. He's a breed of his own.
But
I get what you mean.
Solemn but few, right?
I get exactly what you mean.
It was because I
That's
forgot
a good one too.
What we were saying, we were talking about something, and I said that, and he was like, "Wow, I never thought of it like that." And I was like, because a lot of people put themselves on a pedestal once they reach that point, but they forget about all the people that helped them get to that point.
All the background questions that they had, you know, and they might give thanks in a.
I mean, somebody I looked up to for a while, kind of just completely shit the bed on all that yesterday for me, and like that's a good example of forgot every stepping stone along the way, and now things
whatever.
Yeah, you know, they think they're the king of the mountain, and that everyone that helped them get up there was just a step.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's like gross. I don't know. I don't do well with that kind of stuff.
No, me either.
I don't care who you are at that point. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care about any of that. You're just not human. You have no respect for a human being at that point.
I don't like people like that like hold their like stature like that. Because who the fuck are you? Let's be real. Who the fuck are you,
nothing.
bro?
Yeah, you bleed, I bleed. Exactly. You know, you cry, I cry.
Exactly.
Like,
and you ever notice they only do it really to like certain people? They know who the weaker ones are.
They do it to the people that they know they have a grip over.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Or the people that have been in their lives for a long time.
Yeah.
Who won't do anything about it. Right. Dangling but it's the new people that they're like, fuck, like I can't do that with that person.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But then there's like also people, right? Because 6'8", 250-pound motherfucker, you're not talking to like a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. Always.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I like about physical fitness for sure. People respect the fuck out of you way more when your shirt looks different than a fat person's.
Yeah.
Just is what it is. It's a law. It's human law. It's animal law. Right. It's a
bigger, faster, stronger.
It's a weak link. I don't have to.
Yeah.
I can be whoever the fuck. I can be a dick to this person. Right. And if you're sitting there denying it, you're only lying to yourself. Right. And whether you act on it or not, is what your character is about. But there's times people say shit to me and I'm like, who the fuck but then, I'm like, who the fuck am I? Right. You always got to resort back to who the fuck am I?
See, I think there's places where conversations happen like that, where it's like, what the fuck did you just say? Like that. I think some of those conversations though are meant to just be left at that, where like the banter back and forth would get absolutely nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Like I think there are places like instead of you saying like, who the fuck do you think you are? It's more of like, man, this dude's so far lost. Like I can't. Why would I waste the energy arguing with this 100%. Kind of person at this point?
100%.
Like I mean, like I've gotten it. Like I've had to deal with that shit, and it's to the point where I've just been like, okay.
I guess it more so would be circumstantial to me, right? Because if you're my boss and you talk to me like that, I'm going to quickly humble you and remind you that you're only the boss in here, right? Don't talk to me like that. I'm a fucking human. You want to scold me for my job? Sure. But find a better way of talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking human like you. Like you said, you bleed, I bleed, right? We're not playing this fucking game. But if you want to scold me on my work, I was doing bad work, you can do that. But you better find a better way of doing that, because I actually ran into this. My boss was dangling our 15-minute breaks. She's like, just so you know, they're not law.
Oh.
What? Exactly. Either you're blissfully ignorant to intimidation, or you know what the fuck you just did. And I told her, I was like, I'm not doing that. Alexis isn't doing that. She's not doing that. Why the fuck are you saying that to all of us? Why not just go up to the people and say it to them?
Yeah.
And she goes, well, next time you have a beef like this, come up and just say it to me. Because I was kind of yelling it. And I was like, isn't that ironic? You want me to come up and pay you the respect of telling you something, but you can say it willy-nilly to all of us? Who the fuck do you think you are? Right? And that got squashed. It's good. But you need to find a better way of going about that, sweetheart, because you're a human just like me. And you're only the boss inside these four walls, which doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is all a fragment of us believing it exists. As soon as the animalistic side comes out, none of this matters. So like, it's just humans are forgetting that humans are humans. And she did it over text. Exactly. It's very easy to eliminate the human aspect and dangle your 15-minute break
over a text message.
Bro.
That's a conversation she would never have in person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's crazy because the leaders are not leaders. They've been there for a while, so they get promoted.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of this problem is. That's why a lot of people, did you know clapping is an aggressive like aggravator? Like people like you can snap, you have to snap instead of clap.
I didn't know that.
How big of a fucking pussy are you? I don't care who Clark, they're not pussy. Is the clapping is no, I would. The fuck are you talking about, bro? We've been clapping for millennia. Like what? They're taking advantage. We need to stop listening to the 5 people that are scared of clapping and give them empathy and get them out of the room so they don't hear any. So the rest of the 10 million people can clap. It's crazy, dude. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? So anyway, we live in a simulation. No, so I did see something though, right? Have you seen a plane break the sound barrier?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that not breaking through the simulation?
It's pretty gnarly.
Right? A literal cloud forms in front of them and then a sonic boom?
Yeah.
If there's one sign that it's a simulation and we're breaking it, it's right there. Right?
It's crazy.
I had that revelation on a little bit of mushroom.
It's a picture of a jet.
Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Didn't I send that to you?
Yeah. It's crazy looking.
It's nuts, but that's what happens every time we break the sound barrier at 700 miles an hour. We can go like 3 times that. What?
Traveling faster than sound.
Which is, how do we know how fast sound travels? Obviously waves, but like, How did we track that? What? Like it's crazy
It is.
how advanced we are, man. It's crazy. And then you think about
Did I send you that planet they found that's pretty similar to Earth?
yeah, but it's like 5 times the size,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It like looks exactly like Earth.
But is that just like a
I don't know if it was
depiction?
computer generated or
Who knows?
what, but it looks like it was crazy.
Did it have an oxygen atmosphere? Is
I
what they
think
were
so,
saying?
yeah.
That's gnarly. That'd be crazy. That there now we're starting to get into the parallel universe theory, right? Where there's just this infinite number of just
yeah.
parallel universes. So you exist, I exist, this conversation exists. Your coffee's over here, mine's right here.
Yeah.
Nutty. And then okay, if they found life on a different planet, do you think that completely eliminates religion?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
From a logical standpoint, or from just like I'm talking about from a logical standpoint, would that end any disbelief in your head?
No.
No, it would immediately for me,
No, for me it wouldn't. I consider myself a Christian,
unless they were like Jesus is real. That would be nuts.
but Jesus was real.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Jesus is the Messiah.
Oh, like
When I say that, I know Jesus was real.
So, from my end, right? I consider myself Christian still.
That's fair.
From my end, looking at that, I guess my mind's a little bit more complex than the average Christian, but I would say I don't think we were God's only plan. There's no reason why.
Is that a justification though? Because we are. In the book, if you're a Christian, you believe that humans are God's only plan. That's why animals don't have souls.
But no, it's not. That's not they don't have consciousness.
Right, they don't have souls, which is what makes us human. The consciousness is the soul, right? In Christianity, because you're allowed to kill animals because they don't have souls. That's why dogs don't go to heaven.
See, but my understanding was the opposite of that.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I digressed.
No.
But in my eyes, that's how I would look at it. I would look at it as like that wasn't the end all be all. We weren't.
Would they have to be?
If for me right now, it's still hard to deny the fact that there's something that is constructing it all,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's hard to deny for myself right now, still to this day, which is God, right?
But do you only say that because that's how you know of it?
No, that's what I believe.
Do you believe it's an entity, or when you say God, what do you believe in?
It's hard to say, is that a person?
Right.
Right. For me, it's still hard to say if that's a person, but I guess like an omniscient presence that kind of is what we all function off of, right? Is God.
That's why I say I'm agnostic, not Christian anymore.
See, I still value some
Yeah.
big Christian things,
Same.
right?
They were the 10 Commandments are legit.
Yeah, but I do know I want Blake to get raised that way.
That's fair.
And so that's something that I'll still continue to do. But obviously there's parts of things that I don't mesh with anymore. Like I don't go to church, like things like that. Like, but I do have like a good belief in the whole religion still. Because I think there's a lot to take out of it psychologically from a lot of the stories to learn from. And I want Blake to learn those things because there are really big pieces of, even if you don't believe in the actual thing that happened, there's a big metaphor for the whole thing to take out of it, right? And even like Christ's new commandment, right? He completely says like, these 10 are done. This is what you need to live by only, his golden commandment, right? Love your neighbor like you'd love yourself kind of thing. Treat others how you'd want to be treated, right? That's a huge part of my life.
Right.
Like just being good to people because I want to be treated good as well. And I'll do that. Even if someone pisses on me, I'll do that still.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
Karma.
Oh, yeah.
You know what karma's from? Buddhism. You know what Jesus is? Buddhism.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I get that.
I think all religions really tied together.
100%. I do too.
There's
That's why it's hard for me to
there's
say.
Judaist things that are the same. There's Islamic things that are the same.
I mean, Jesus is mentioned more in the Quran than in the Bible.
Yeah.
And that is a fact.
So like, there's miracles that happened in both. There's miracles that happened in every single religion, right? Because what you need that awe-inspiring thing to communicate a really complex ideology on a simple matter, right? A miracle is the explanation for that. So for minds that can't grasp onto things, right? A miracle. That's a good way to say things like that. Like I truly believe this, right? I believe that your lung situation was a miracle.
How the dominoes fell.
Yes. I believe that because the way it happened and the way your body functioned normal
For years.
for years, in my opinion, that's a miracle. That's what I believe in. Those are
Right.
things that I believe in. And
Which is wild because you're very science-based.
I am, but I also know, see, and that's one thing I will say that I love about myself is that I'm so science-based, but I don't let it blind me all the time. I like having my faith and experience when it comes to contest prep, like making that
Right.
bro science decision, right? Or making that connection to religion that I still hold grasp on, but I am very analytical, right? I could spew out an encyclopedia of science at this point, right? So like, I like that about myself because I'm well-rounded in those aspects. And I think it's just, I don't know. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, for sure, to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But that's why I try to be well-rounded in like all cultures.
Yeah.
But like the more I learn about cultures and the more I learn about like science and just life experience, right? To me, the miracle thing, I get what you mean. Like they need that awe-inspiring. But to me, it was like they needed it at a point where I need this group to believe in this guy. Right. So they made up or telephone because it's like a game of telephone to me, to my understanding, right?
Yeah.
Just because I know how humans tell stories. I've seen humans embellish things, right? To me, it completely can make sense that this water into wine thing was just one thing somebody threw in one time and then people at a speech and then people started spreading it. And then it became this miracle that Jesus performed. And we got to believe in Jesus because he walked on water. Nobody's ever walked on water since, right? And nobody walked on water before. So yeah, it truly would be insane at this random point in time that God decided, right? I just don't know. I just don't know. And to me, that's why I say I'm agnostic because like you said, the connection, the serendipity of it all.
Yeah.
I can't deny that. There's things that I can't deny, right? And like taking your shoes off and your socks off and standing in the grass with no phone or no nothing and just watching and listening to the world. You're connecting on such a weird plane that almost doesn't exist anymore. And to me, it's like if we lived life just like that even and just did little things, what would life be like now? Or how peaceful will we all feel? What would our mindset going to work be?
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm always more relaxed after I do something like that. And I wonder if it's like the relaxation of just remembering that I'm human, right? Because work and all this shit really doesn't exist. Survival is the only thing that matters, right? And to what we've evolved from. So this is all new. That's why we're all anxious and
That's why
depressed.
we're all 1,000 miles an hour, excitatory all the time. So, but like the wedding at Cana, right? That's the story of the wine, the water to wine.
Okay.
Jesus walking on water. That is, that happens during a storm. All the disciples are on a boat. Or some of the disciples are on a boat. He walks on water to calm the water down. Now, flip the script. Psychologically standpoint saying what's to learn from these stories. Jordan Peterson does a great job deciphering these stories. And to save time, like I'm not going to go TLDR it. The wedding at Cana, there's a metaphor to be taken out of it. And just like the walking on water during a storm miracle that the Bible portrays is actually a story about calming anxiety and things like that. So there are bigger, deeper meanings to the stories, but I get on the surface level, you're like, who the fuck walks on water?
Right. But so to me, that's where it's like a con because I had to make up this story, this parable essentially.
So I don't know if I'd call it a con, but I also would say
I'm using it as a lackluster.
No. I know you are. I know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like there's a lot of people who don't have our level of thinking.
Right.
And we have to be able to get that story across from them.
But they don't see it as a lesson in calming
No,
anxiety.
there are extremists in all religions, right?
I don't even mean that, man. If you talk to the most random person who just barely knows, they just think that Jesus walked on water.
Yeah, and that's a lack of education that things don't do well, right? Like I had to have a mythological psychiatrist break that down, not my teacher at school, right? I think there's a lot of I think everything has improvement, right? We need to improve education. Like if my kid goes to Christian private school, right? That's curriculum that they should be teaching, right? Teach them the yes, you should, but teach them the whys behind these stories exist.
Now, this is where I'm conflicted is like, do you think that it was written in, or these stories were collected or made up, whatever you believe in the fact that Jordan preaches in, that there were lessons with deeper value, or were they told to command the masses into believing this thing?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And because the big thing that happened, if we look at timeline, right? You had a Roman Empire who was split, pagan and Christian.
Right.
And they had to figure out a way to get them to literally stop fighting with each other. What is a way we do that? We have to pick one or the other.
Right.
They literally picked one or the other.
Yeah, Constantine on his deathbed.
And the Council of Nicaea was who made the Bible.
Right.
They decided what stories, what books, what things went into it.
And now
that's why, like, I went and read everything that didn't make it in the Bible.
Right. And they believe that before the council, Jesus was just a man. But some of the religions, some of the sects believed that he was this almighty. And then that's what they decided on. And then from there on out, he was.
Yeah.
So that's right. So to me, that's where it's like gets conflicted and confused is who's right.
Yeah,
we'll never know.
And I think there has to be that confusion. I think that's what makes faith.
Yeah. But okay. So, but faith in what? Is it a lie? Is it real? Was Jesus really doing this? Because Jordan, this is what I have a conflict with Jordan's little perception on this is like, is Jesus real or not? Because if Jesus is real, these stories aren't
stories.
This perception that he's making.
Yeah.
These stories then happened.
Yeah.
Right. That's what they believe in. They're not a calming of anxiety, Jordan. Right. But if Jesus wasn't real and they've been just these stories made up to calm the masses, then sure, I see that.
Yeah.
But to me, that's where I have this conflict because he believes in both.
Yeah.
He believes that there's stories to calm or anxiety, whatever, but he also believes that Jesus was real.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
I do too, though.
Yeah, but that's the problem in my head of like.
I know, that's why I want to talk to you.
Right. But like, that's what I'm saying is like the conflict of like, if it's real, then how can it be this story? If Jesus walked on water, how is it about that? It's not about that, right? Because if Jesus walked on water to calm the storm around them because they were about to drown, that's the story.
Yeah.
It's not about calming anxiety.
But it's a way to look at that miracle in your everyday life now.
I disagree.
That's never going to happen.
I disagree.
Again.
That's 2,000 years later, Jordan Peterson selling a book.
No, that's not Jordan Peterson. The church teaches that too.
I've never been taught that, and I went to Catholic school too.
Yeah.
Everybody that I went to Catholic school with believes in Adam and Eve. Believes that that's where we started.
Yeah.
They don't believe in it as that it's just like this fucking story.
Yeah, see, now, so there's things that I don't like mesh with, right? But
this is part of the problem that I have with religion.
see, I had a teacher at my Catholic school who was probably the best teacher I've ever had. Day one, comes into the class and was like, listen, he's our principal. Fuck you, headmaster. He's our headmaster teaching a class. Like he decided to teach one year. And luckily I was able to get into his class because he walked in and said, I'm going to shake all of your guys' faith. And I'm going to make sure I do it the entire year. Literally, he's the principal of this Catholic school. Right. And he says, I'm going to shake your faith as much as I can this year and make you question it the entire time until you see the things that you are okay with and the things that you just don't simply believe in anymore. Because when you guys graduate, it was senior year, when you guys graduate and enter the real world, that's what you're going to have to deal with.
That doesn't sound to you.
And that's what and then, so there are deeper teachings that like, they don't teach but he was somebody who taught us that stuff, brought up things from like Catholic colleges that looked into psychology of stories more and things like that. And that's where I learned a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff isn't taught.
Right.
And that's where I have the like, that's where like I want to make sure like there's aspects to be taken out of it all, right? And not a lot of people get that chance because they didn't have the chance to have that guy as a teacher, right? And I did, thank God, right? But I want to be able to help with that for people because I think there are really big things to take out of it. And that's what, I guess that's what I'm trying to get around to, that it's not so much that, yes, I believe these things, but I also want to look at that story as a way that I can portray later on in my day-to-day life. Like that's something that could help me calm down. And I think that's just something that I hold pretty value to.
And I don't disagree with that at all. I don't think that there's anything wrong with holding value in that sense of religion. I really don't.
Yeah.
I never will. It's my problem is the people that truly believe this stuff versus people that can actually think about it like that.
Yeah.
And then where's the line? What
Yeah.
happened?
And I think that's where the line is. It's tough.
Right.
It's tough to
'cause
play
it's like,
that line because it's
like Moses and the burning tree,
Yeah.
right? They now think it was the acacia tree.
yeah.
So the story is this burning bush
That speaks to
told
Moses. Tells people you need to get these people out of here.
yeah, and the Ten Commandments, right? Wasn't that with the Ten
No,
Commandments?
so the Ten Commandments was, so the burning bush was God coming to Moses
Right.
and saying, this is your job. You
you
have
need
to
to
do
free the
this. You need
people.
to free the people.
Gotcha.
And then the Ten Commandments was he went up to a mountain for like, I think it was 40 days, 40
yeah,
nights.
Okay.
Came back down and had these two.
Which he spoke to God again there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. God told him these are the things you need to write down, kind
Gotcha.
of thing. So I got to digress. Do you think like, I'll call it God, you'll call it
Whatever.
You're
The spaghetti monster.
no, like just the presence thing, right?
Your consciousness.
Consciousness, right? Do you believe there's people that are just touched that way, that have walked this earth, like just touched in a way that they are almost, I hate to use the word divine, but like in a way that they just have special things about them that you can't explain anymore? Like think about everybody you've ever came across. No matter the religion, what they believed in, the time era, whatever it was. Do you believe there's people that were touched like that?
It's hard because yes and no. Because like, do I think that there are people that are like nicer and sweeter and more divine with how they are empathetic towards people or understanding and never see them mad or
Yeah.
stressed or anything? Sure. But do I think that's divinity of some sort or touched by some sort? I don't know.
Yeah.
know?
Because I look at things like people throughout history. Like, I think somebody like Socrates is a good example. Well above his time, well ahead of his time. His level of thinking was insane, right? It was unbelievable, right? Da Vinci, another person, right? I think there's just people through the course of time that like you can't explain like how out of their time period they actually were,
Right.
and I think that is like
Elon right
yeah,
now.
that's like such like a that's like a blessed level of thinking that they have that the people around them at that time period don't have.
Right. I wonder if those people would have been considered like gods if we didn't have
Probably
like, technology.
just because
and
of how
stuff.
smart they were
Yeah.
and how advanced they were. Da Vinci is still one of the most incredible people to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. All his architecture
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
One of the most incredible things is Da Vinci. Michelangelo, his paintings, right? Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah.
They're throwing soup at his shit again.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Man. That's crazy to me. That's so. Do you know how the universe works? You know the Big Bang Theory, because everything's moving.
Yeah.
Right? So like for people that don't know, something is
Everything's
like,
moving away.
with momentum.
Yeah.
Because the sun is so big and so huge flying through a vacuum that the waves that it's creating has our planets in its wake.
Yeah.
People think that still like we're circling, just floating in space.
Yeah.
We're not. We're ripping through space.
We're flying through it.
Ripping through it. I think we rotate at 17,000 miles an hour, which is nuts. So if you saw a golf ball go by as fast as we're traveling through space it would fucking like burn through your vision.
Yeah.
You know? Fuck, where was I going with that? God,
I don't know.
God damn it.
See, like that's a thing that I firmly believe in. I firmly believe in the Big Bang. I firmly believe in evolution. Things that my religion never taught me.
Right. Never.
Taught me that this wasn't real. What are you
Never.
talking
Yeah.
about? Right.
Yeah, God created it.
Yeah. So it's like those are things that I think God had his hand involved in. Right. That's where I put my God in, and that's where I was always called a crazy kid for the while during school because I believed in evolution. I was like, there's way too much proof. Like, you can't tell me there isn't.
Yeah.
Fast forward, Pope comes out and says, yes, we accept evolution. Now I'm not the crazy kid anymore. Right. But those are things that, like, back to my science end of things, right? There's things that simply that are just justifiable through science now that I'm just like, what? Like, it's crazy.
Right.
You know? Did you see the Shroud of Turin? You know the Shroud of Turin? Mm-mm. So it's a piece of cloth that dates back 2,000 years, and it has stains of blood that are shaped like Jesus' face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, things like that. It was his burial wraps, apparently, right?
Okay.
It's been in the Vatican under protection, whatever. 25 years of research has been going into it to recreate an image of it. And they just put the image on display at the Vatican. It's actually pretty crazy.
Is it?
It's insane. Like, to the point of all his scourges and everything that they put together from it. Because there was, like, multiple pieces of the cloth.
Oh.
And, like, a lot of blood stains through it all.
Gotcha. That is nuts. I remember what I was going to say. But, because like, climate change came up for a quick second. And that's what I was going to say, right? So
Climate change.
we're going through, because what did you say climate change for?
I didn't say climate change.
You said something about the climate. I know it. Anyway, so we've never been in the same area in space, right? So, like, how do we know anything like that? Because there's a black hole at the center of our galaxy. That's what they believe now. That there's a supermassive black hole at the center of every galaxy.
Pulling us in there.
Yeah. Which is also moving through space, ripping through space.
So, like, our whole galaxy is moving.
Right.
And then everything inside of it's moving.
And it's all this, like, vortex rather than, like, floating, orbiting, right? It's all, like, ripping and in the wake, flying around it, right? Well, we're circling this black hole. And they think that the sun's rotation is like 400 million years before it makes a complete circle. Well, what if, like, this corner of its rotation is like an ice age again? Or this corner is like back to dinosaurs.
Oh.
Right? So, like, how much control do we have? Zero fucking control. I thought of that, or I didn't think of that. It was presented.
Elon might have some say.
Graham Hancock, he was talking about that because, or Randall Carlson, because Randall Carlson doesn't necessarily believe in, like, the climate change narrative. He knows the climate is changing, but he doesn't know how much control we have to stop it or how much we're adding to it. Obviously, given the science of things, it seems like we're speeding it up. So, but, like, if those core samples, have you seen those?
Yeah.
Where it's like liquid right here because it was hot as fuck in Antarctica, and then ice again and it was cold as fucking, right? It's just crazy because this is just like a normal thing because we're on a fucking spaceship flying around. Who knows, like, how much cosmic dust and
is everywhere.
All this other shit.
It's space is so cool.
It is. It really is. It's fucking dope. And I got to see a lot of stars.
CC just put together like, I don't know how much it was, but like a science center with a telescope on top of the building.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like a legit.
They went like $2 million investment for a research center for science.
Hell yeah.
And a huge, like,
Catholic
telescope.
Central.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Isn't that crazy?
Let's hope that they admit what they find. Seems like that light's 3 million years
Why?
ago.
One of the best and strongest telescopes. You know what its name was?
Hubble?
Lucifer.
No way.
Yeah.
When was that?
It's in Hawaii.
Fallen angel.
Yeah.
Wasn't he an archangel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there was like 7 archangels or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know them off the top of my head, but
I got one tattooed to me.
you have Michael?
Michael the Archangel.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. But it was a chapter in my life, so I don't, like, regret getting it or anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I don't know.
You shouldn't.
I
at
was
all.
very, very religious when my grandma got breast cancer.
Yeah.
But it was like a comforting factor, right? Praying is essentially meditation, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It
so
is.
praying, I had like a divine, if you will, experience, which was nuts. I had like one of those iHomes. Remember iHome?
Yeah.
I put my phone on it back in the day. This was 2011 when I was living in East Lansing. And I just pressed random on my songs. I think I had like 20,000 fucking songs because this was illegal music days, right? You could just download whatever the fuck you want and throw it on your iPod. And I put it on and just hit random and sparked up a blunt because I couldn't think. My grandma's my number one. So like hearing that was just too much. And every song that came on was legit about let go and just go with it. God's got you. Literally. It was, I don't remember the songs anymore because it was 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, whatever. And, but I do remember feeling like something wrapped a blanket around me and it felt divine at the moment. And like, I remember just breaking down crying because I just felt like everything was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it just felt like this blanket wrapped around me. I don't know what it was to this day. I wasn't on mushrooms, so it was before I had any type of epiphany like that, right? But it was just, again, another revolution in my life where, okay, now I have to think about this. Mm-hmm. Now I have to, in my head, I believed wholeheartedly at that point. So it was like pray every night, try to do whatever I can to help. I was going to church. Like I would go to church in East Lansing every now and again with my roommate Fran at the time because he was religious. I did Lent. I celebrated Lent that year. So yeah, it's crazy just going through cycles of life where you stand, where you trying to find yourself. Yeah. Right. It's hard. It's hard, especially with this shit.
It's hard with that.
Yeah. Because you got to mold to get likes.
Yeah.
Who really are you, right? Once you can get away with that. And again, this is where that human connection, friends, actual real people knowing that they love you.
But that's where now you said this to me the other day or yesterday when we were talking about like what we want to talk about. Living for the validation of others is the worst way to live, 100%. Right? I just talked about all that stuff right now, and those are things that you don't believe in anymore, but I don't care because you're my friend.
Yeah.
I don't live for the validation of what you think with me, right?
But that's different.
But I'm saying social media has turned into I have to put on a facade for the validation of others to be accepted by the masses now.
100%. I get what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tie in, right?
But that's a good example, right? We don't agree on that, but you're still like my best friend.
Yeah, which is nothing wrong with.
Right, but that...
And I'll respect, and that's where that reciprocity comes in play, right? You'll maybe moving forward, I don't know, you'll respect that more about me and vice versa.
Probably not.
I won't. Fuck you. But I won't, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to throw it in my face, I'm not going to throw it in your face.
Never.
But that's where that connection's gone.
Yeah, 100%. Because we no longer, it's like I love you, so I have to accept you, right? I already love you as my brother. I love Sally. No matter what he does, I have to accept him. I love Dylan. No matter what he says that I can't read good, I have to accept it. Like, I love him, right? And that's where, like, comedy is dying. Because there's no more human connection. I can't make that dig. I might throw religion in your face, but you know it's going to make you laugh or make me laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from a hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to hurt you, right? Unless it's funny. But, but like, that's what I mean, right? Like, we can't.
But that's what's
you
lost.
Can't take a dig at anybody anymore. Nobody has a sense of fucking humor anymore.
No, and people are scared. People are scared to do things based on what perception that's going to cause from the outside in. They won't say the things they want to say. They won't do the things they want to do because they're scared of how that is going to be perceived in the outside world. They're living for the validation of others, and it is the quickest route to misery.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it is. That's a good one. Yeah, living for the validation of others is the quickest route to misery.
Yeah. Because you'll be
put that on a tombstone.
Because you'll be miserable for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I was doing it.
Yeah, but now here's the thing, right? I actually do care about what you think about me. There are very few people that I care what
I
they
guess I
think
should
about
have
me.
rephrased that.
But no, like, I don't think it's like that. I think you
But
have
I
to
think-
choose who you want to care about you.
Yeah, and I think that at that point, right, you like I care about the things you care about me, or I care about the way you think about things that I do or whatever, right? But I still don't think that should dictate the way I live.
No. Okay. Yeah. Nah, yeah.
You get what I'm
For sure.
saying?
For sure.
Like you said, fuck Miami the other day, and I was like, well, fuck you, Clark. I'm still gonna go to Miami. But
For sure.
but those are what I'm talking about.
Yes. 100%.
Like if I was so into the fuck, Clark's gonna get pissed if I go to Miami. I can't go to Miami.
Yeah.
Like that's where a lot of people are though.
Yes. 100%. That's scary.
That's really scary.
That's scary.
That a simple judgment can dictate the way somebody lives their life.
I wonder what that is. Why do you think that you don't care? Or why do you think that I don't care?
Because I know you love me.
Right.
And I love you.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Do you think that's like the bottom line at the end of the day?
I think so. And I think it's like, no matter what, we'd always have each other's backs.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day is all I need.
Right.
Right. We don't hold favors around here.
But
It's
why-
you got me, I got you.
Why don't I care about your religious values in the sense of like it's not going to dictate me, but I know it's important to you?
I don't know.
Right, I
just
don't
a
know
respect
either.
Thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like we both respect each other on that end.
And all I'm doing is just trying to devolve, like why? Like how did
Yeah.
we get here?
Yeah.
Right? Why do I like not care if Dylan was like that either? Dylan could be Muslim
I
like
think there's,
Hassan, right?
I think there are vital moments in friendships that establish that.
Okay, that's fair.
There were points in our friendship that
Make or break.
something happened, and for us it happened in the good.
We kept
and
going.
it just kept going and kept stacking to the point that we're sitting here today, doing this and talking the way we talk to each other, right? What is the number one thing you get all the time from our conversations from people? It's crazy how different you guys are, but just hang out.
Yeah.
Like, but how many people could sit who do that?
Right, with people that have a differing view.
They can't.
No.
But I think that's where like friendships have those vital moments where this is going to dictate how the rest of our friendship kind of goes now.
I think too, a lot of it is like I'm not emotionally tied to that. You're not emotionally tied. We might show emotion when speaking on these things, but I think if it was something that you were emotionally tied, I wouldn't necessarily push back.
Yeah.
Right. And if it were like, let's say raising Blake, if you told me something that I didn't necessarily agree in, there's no way I'm pushing back on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a respect.
I'd say
thing.
that's a
respect
thing.
because
And
I
it'd be
love
vice
you.
versa.
Yeah, exactly. And now I might wholeheartedly, right? I don't believe in it. There's like my boss, right? There you can find a way to say it. And now if I do say it and it offends you, I would be just sorry.
Yeah.
Right? I would be fucking feel so bad. But I wonder what that is. Like, is that just because we get to sit down every week and talk to each other? We worked out like together. We have this commonality. Why? It's crazy to me though, right? Why? Because there's
vibe with people.
There's people that I don't respect like that, right? They could tell me this shit. I'm just gonna be like, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. You could agree wholeheartedly with me on everything. I don't want to hang out with you still.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you think we both like that conflict? And conflict is a lack of a better word.
Yeah, conflict's definitely a lack of a better word.
Right.
But I think
But that's what it is.
I think our opposing ideas on some things are moments for us to both grow mentally. It's almost like a mental exercise for the two of us sometimes, right? If we talk about something we don't agree on.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think because I think that's how both of our minds work. We grow with conversation, usually you and I, right?
Right.
Or listening to something, right? I send you something to listen to. You send me something to listen to.
Right.
we grow from that communication of words.
Like the Gary Vee video.
Like the guy sent you that. You sent me the Daily Stoic one the other day. Like,
and you know I hate Gary Vee.
Yeah.
But you're like, listen, he's not doing his normal thing.
Yeah,
And it was a great fucking video.
Yeah.
I like that 10-minute, 15-minute meeting idea. He gets 4 or 5 meetings done in the first hour of his day.
It's genius.
Yeah, it is. It's
Because how much time have I wasted in a meeting that's an hour and it was 10 minutes of a topic that we need to
meetings.
go
Let's go to dinner and have Tell me right now what the fuck you want to say to me.
Yeah.
Let's save the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was genius.
But and then
that
he
was
talked
his whole
about how
day.
he always takes meetings with anybody.
Yes, that was very
Because he's like, put your ego away, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, I am who I am, but that doesn't, I don't know.
Did you see the one? I did see he was giving a speech somewhere, like a seminar, and a guy stood up and he was doing like a Q&A, and he's like, I think he was just like, I have my resume right here. I really want to work for you. And like that was his Q&A. And he goes, are you willing to move to New York? And he goes, yeah. He goes, all right, you can work for me. Just like that. But like that, I can see where he like says yes to things and does things. And I wonder how many of those ideas have made him money or made him happy, right?
Probably happy more than anything.
It seems like he does stuff that makes him happy.
Yeah.
Versus,
he does a lot of stuff that makes him happy. Versus,
or something that he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know he overtook K-Swiss.
Yep.
You have to
fucking like K-Swiss.
you have to really want to improve K-Swiss to overtake K-Swiss. That didn't sound like a good business move, and I still haven't seen a K-Swiss shoe that I fucking like. But he might be
But
in
he takes
every
on passion projects.
Yeah, he might
does
be in
things
every
he enjoys.
Payless. He might be in every Dunham's. Right, still making that money because Skechers owns the biggest portion of the shoe market.
Yeah, yeah.
Say what? But that's because they're $20-$30. You can get them at Dunham's. You can get them at the fucking corner store, right? Like they're everywhere.
Walmart, Target, everywhere. Meijer.
Yeah.
You can buy Skechers at Meijer.
Right, dude. But that's the thing. If you're in everywhere,
people are gonna buy your shit.
Exactly. Yeah, it's cool how different people can be. I think I'm attracted to different people. I think I'm attracted to people that push my mental.
Yeah.
Like Joshy and I don't agree on everything, and he's one of my best fucking friends. And it's because I can agree with Josh. If I agree with Josh, Josh almost wants to disagree now. Josh looks at it from every fucking angle. Josh's scope of looking is a circle. There's no angles. He embodies, where can I pick the hole in this? Where can I push my own belief to not believe in it anymore? And sometimes it's like, Josh, just shut the fuck up. Just take it, right? Or just do it. And then it's like, okay. But like, it's incredible to talk like that to somebody, right? Because there's never, like, again, one thing I've said 100 times is you can't offend me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I had to believe in myself. That's another thing, right? Dylan knows who he is. Joshy knows who he is. You know who you are. Sally might be questionable. And I know who I am. So this is shit on Sally Day. But knowing who you are, that's why I can say disagreements towards stuff. And you're like, yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that I still believe in it and I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
I think that's a big one.
I think that's a really big one. But we all respect that amongst each other, right? Because like I can talk to Dill. I'm never going to try to convince Dill any other way. I might disagree with something, but it's not to convince him. Mm-hmm. It's just because I don't see it that way, right? And we went from agree to disagree to that's fair.
Yeah.
Right? That's fair. But that's really what it's turned into. And now I find myself saying that to a lot of people because it sounds better than, well, I agree to disagree with you.
No, that's fair.
I
think that's the way it has to be said, though.
Oh, yeah. Now?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
hard to
disagree.
Disagreements now are almost not even logical. They're not even like disagreements.
Right.
It's just, no, this is what I believe in. Like, that's what it is now. It's not like, there's no, like, science-wise, right? You have a hypothesis, you do an experiment, one result or the other is coming out, right? But then somebody comes and says, all right, this is your experiment, this is how you did it. I disagree that this was done the right way. And then they show you why they disagree. There's no showing why anymore. There's no counterpoints. There's no anything anymore.
It's called a burden of proof, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no burden
There's
of
no
proof.
burden of proof anymore.
None.
It's just like, no, this is what I believe.
Yeah, and I see that a lot, right, with like older gentlemen, right? Like I said, I live in
Yeah.
red middle America type shit. I've heard some shit that I don't agree with, right? That I'm like, holy fuck, I can't believe you just said that shit. But am I going to waste my day trying to convince them that they're wrong?
No, because you're not going to convince them.
And now am I supposed to not like them anymore?
No.
If somebody says something racist in front of me and I'm not racist and it's somebody that I kind of like, am I supposed to just throw them to the wayside now? Because I know they're wrong on that.
Yeah.
But what if I agree with something else that they do? Right? Like, am I supposed to just cut ties? Because a lot of people say that you are. If you know somebody who's racist, you're supposed to cut fucking ties with them. Well, what if they don't have any power? What if their little prejudice and racism, they can't even hold it over anybody because they fucking bag groceries at Kroger? Do I have to really hate that person? Can I just go? What if I didn't go to them for their view on people? Right? What if I went to them because he knows how to fix my bow and arrow?
Yeah, what if that just came out because that came out?
Yeah, I need my gun repaired.
Well,
this guy
that's what cancel culture has.
I know, but that shit is fucking silly.
Yeah.
It's silly because I agree with like Rogan. You have to hear bad opinions to know that you still stand on the side of good.
Yeah.
When I hear racism still, I'm like, holy fuck. You can believe that shit still?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But it's like refreshing to me to realize that I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know? Because when you hear it's like shocking. It's shocking. I heard like legit bigotry the other day. They were talking because I work with a gay person and they called him a faggot bitch. And I was like, holy shit. Did you just, I can't believe you just said that shit. And it was a black lady and he was black. So it wasn't racist, right? Can't be racist that they're both, but it was wholeheartedly, we were kicking her out. We were like, you gotta go. Like, what the fuck? And it was as simple as somebody put her money on the counter instead of handed it to her. Oh, yeah.
Bro. For anybody who didn't see, I just crossed my eyes.
So, and that started World War fucking III inside the dispensary, bro.
Yeah.
What? So then on her way out, she goes, you're a faggot bitch. And I laughed because I laugh at like uncomfortable things or I laugh at shocking things. And I was like, oh my God. Like, what? Like I for sure joke and say some stupid shit, right? But never once would I ever think of saying it right to this dude's face like that or like actually meaning it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like actually thinking like you're worse than me because you like dudes. That's crazy. But I saw it. And it was, like I said, it was almost refreshing to remember that I'm not like that.
Yeah.
You know? Because it was wild. It was a bomb, dude.
Rogan's approach is good.
Yeah, you have to
hear those opinions to know that like you still value the side that you're on.
And he always brings up it was either the UCLA or ACLA, something like that, where they're actually very, very liberal, very like freedom of speech people. Because believe it or not, liberals, liberals, freedom of speech used to be numero uno on your list, right?
Yeah.
Because you're liberal, you believe in liberty, you believe in Anyway,
the word liberal doesn't mean liberty anymore.
No, God no, God no. It's taken on a whole. It's progressive now, though. It's progressive.
Oh, they're not called liberals. They're called progressives.
Because if anything, I'm liberal.
Progressives are progressing towards this new.
Yes, exactly.
Liberal
Everything has to
means
progress.
liberties.
Yes, progressive means it has to progress.
Yeah.
It can't just stop with your rights. It has to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. So, but anyway, they let legitimate like Nazi sympathizers in like the 70s or 80s give a speech in front of the whole school. They gave them the auditorium. They invited people. Go. They put flyers. The Nazis are going to speak because they wanted you to hear how fucking dumb their ideas were. You were supposed to get challenged in college.
Now
it's a safe
you.
space.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. And I text my dad randomly all the time just saying thank you. Just saying thank you. Because I see the way people act sometimes. And it's just like, nobody prepared you for this.
No,
that's
impossible.
Not real. What you want is not real. We have a guy that works with us right now. Great dude, but he's working on a side project. And he goes up and he does his little side project for hours. And it's like, where the fuck are you helping us, man? But he considers himself a communist. And I'm like, yeah, you are.
What?
Yeah, you are. You are, aren't you? You get to go up there and make the same wage as us while you're sitting on a fucking computer trying to progress your own self. And we're doing all the hard work downstairs, doing retail work, which the job is. And on company time, you get to go sit in safe space and do whatever the fuck you want to do. Got you. You are a communist. Wholeheartedly. It's nuts, bro.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. How can you... People, they don't know. They just don't know. They're ignorant to the fact. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of the things that people do are just based off ignorance.
Yeah. Because a lot of people hate capitalism.
Yeah.
And they talk about it on their iPhone.
Yeah. On their iPhone.
While wearing designer, you know? It's just funny, man. It's funny because I agree. I think venture capitalism is gross. I think like exploiting, like Martin Shkreli, remember him? He bought.
That's like me going to a company,
buying it
saying,
and just
hey,
upping it.
Can you give me money? I'll give you a percentage of it. Or they
It's-
come buy
it's like
my
that.
company, keep me involved, but grow it, and they eventually kick me out of it.
There's a ton of different ways,
Yeah.
but like Martin Shkreli, he's on a board of investors or groups or whatever, and they bought that AIDS medication, and it went from $6 a pill to $700 a pill. That's gross. That's venture capitalism. That's where capitalism definitely has like a problem.
It's bad rap.
Yeah. And I was kind of arguing with my pops about this, which, by the way, my pops has grown in so many fucking ways. He like actually trusts my opinion now, right? Which is dope. But we were talking and like I made the thing, right? Like, what if I have 10 yards and I own a landscaping company and I buy it from you and you had 6 employees, but I buy a new mower and something else and I only need one of those employees. Capitalism is both. I can now fire all those employees and make all the money and split it between me and him. And it's both. I can buy all the new mowers and shit for the existing employees and try to make their lives better.
Yeah, that's both.
That's both.
That's both.
It's,
yeah.
And both are considered capitalist. Capitalism, because I'm trying to now make everybody money, right?
Yeah.
Or I still get the majority because I have the hookup. I bought the equipment.
Yeah.
Right? It's humans that choose
That
one or the
dictate
other.
that.
Yeah.
That's the gym up the street who still pays $10 an hour versus the other gym that pays $30 an hour.
Yes, for the
That's
same shit.
for the same job.
Yep.
That's that owner dictating
Yes.
how he wants his place of business to be.
Which is crazy because somewhere along the line, a lot of these people forgot that the employees are what make them money. You know, without the employees, your business ceased to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So why not take care of them?
I firmly believe in that.
Same. Because like,
I mean, I had a conversation with my business partner in the gym. And
right,
and
you want to
we
make
said
sure that they're good.
and he believes in this too. It wasn't just me, but we both said like, we want to give everybody a base salary. What trainer gets a base salary that you know?
Never.
And it's not like a dick salary either.
Right.
Like it's a decent salary, and then get paid on their clients.
Right. And imagine how.
Because I want them not to just stay, right? But I also want them to know that, like, I have your back. Like,
You appreciate it.
I appreciate the work you're doing, like, you know, like, and that's something that I feel is important because that builds a team. Not everybody's meant to be a business owner. Not everybody's meant to be their own boss. Not everyone's meant to do this entrepreneur thing, right? So you have to take care of those people.
Man, I learned I've learned from a lot of businessmen, good and bad. And the best business owner I ever learned from, without a doubt, was the grow store that I worked at, Scott. If I needed a day off, right, in like 2 weeks, hey, Scotty, I need, like, for instance, I remember this date so specifically because it was something that I had to do for a music video. It's on October 22nd. Hey, Scotty, I need October 22nd off. And it was like beginning of October, I told him. He's like, all right, for sure. October 23rd comes around. He was like, man, you didn't even need to come in today. And I came in. And he's like, when the paychecks came around, he's like, just so you know, I paid you on the 22nd too because you gave me such a long time in advance. You just got a paid day off. And I was like, damn, dude, thank you. I didn't ask for it. I didn't need to ask for it.
But how? Okay, now subconsciously, you probably worked better.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I would go to war for Scotty.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays, it was only Scotty and I in this shop. He'd buy me lunch every Tuesday, no questions
Yeah, I
asked.
believe in all that kind of stuff.
Right. But Scotty made, I don't know if made or net gross, whatever it was, but the store made $11 million in
year.
2022
Yeah.
or 2020. And he had 3 employees with him. Now, he didn't do profit shares, right? But he treated them right. He always paid us good.
Yeah.
I imagine if I asked him for health insurance that he would help me with it.
Yeah.
But he always gave me pay raises.
Mm-hmm.
It was always like, hey man, you've been doing good. I gave you another $1 an hour. I work with somebody who has this idea of utopia in his lifetime. And I told him, I'm like, man, you just haven't lived long enough yet.
Yeah. You haven't experienced enough.
And I've joked with him because he's a good guy. I joke with him. I go, I can't wait for the day where there's no hope in your eyes anymore. It's because after a certain life experiences, man, you just like, it's not that hope's gone. You just look at the world differently.
Yeah.
You look at it for what it is, not for this fucking fantasy land.
The world's an ugly place.
Because somebody told me, or they were asking, somebody was asking, they're like, what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you want to be like a cowboy or like an astronaut or anything? I was like, no, my dad was a realist. He would have squashed that immediately. If I said, Dad, I want to be a cowboy, he would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? You got bills to pay. Like, you're dumb as shit. You don't try in school. You're going to have to work, dude. Like, and he was like, oh, that's a bummer. I'm like, no, the fuck it isn't. Because now in the real world, I'm kosher. I'm so smooth because I know that no's exist.
Yeah.
I know that failure can happen. I've been cheated out of money. I've had to quit because of anxiety, right? Like I've lived this shit, dude. Like that's what gives me the validation to speak on a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's because I can go quickly back to tell you how I fucked up.
Yeah. So like that and I think too is just all the life experiences make you more grateful for the things that happen now, right? You look back and you're like, man, like Dina and I went out to a restaurant yesterday. That was a restaurant we always went to when we were dating. And we walked in, we sat down. We sat down at a table we've sat at a bunch of times. And she's like, man, we haven't been here since we got married. And I was like, yeah, we haven't. Wow. It's been 3 years since we've been here. So whatever. Food's still great. Everything's cool. Whatever. Fast forward, bill comes. I open the bill, right? Put my card in it. And then I stopped and I was like, we used to come here and I used to have no money to pay. And I used to have to literally, whatever I had left of my paycheck that I got was what I paid for that dinner. And then whatever and then she was like to me, she goes, I know because I purposely wouldn't order expensive things.
That's fucking awesome.
And I was like, whatever, it just took me back.
Right.
And then and then we leave and I'm just like, I don't know, we've just been on like kind of like a grateful high the last couple of weeks for everything. Cause she even said to me, like, I didn't think you'd be where you're at today. Like based on like everything you told me that you were planning on doing. And I was like, yeah, it's a crazy thing. And it's something I'm truly grateful for.
Right. It is. I mean, life is fucking nuts. Mm-hmm. How shit. I never would have thought that what happened to me happened to me.
Yeah.
It's been a year. This was the day that I was getting out of the hospital, right? Yeah. I got out of the hospital a year ago today.
This was after
the lung surgery. Yeah. Yeah. Because the surgery was on the 3rd.
Because you got out, went home, and then had to go back for the procedure.
The procedure was on the 3rd.
Yeah.
That's when I posted that video. It's been a year since, because that first picture, I'm actually conscious in. That's me giving a thumbs up. That's right when they woke me up. And then, so that, it was crazy because they woke me up, or they got me out of like my anesthesia around 11 p.m. They woke me up at 6 a.m. to sit me up and get me in the chair. It hadn't been 8 fucking hours since surgery.
They gotta get you moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they got me up, and I remember being so pissed because I had never been in so much pain in my life. and they sat me up, got me in the chair, and all day I sat in the chair. And then like at the end of the night, when they finally moved me, I like walked to the end of the room and back to the bed and then sat down. And then the next day is when I was doing laps. Yep. And I was like, I'm good. No more wires in me. Send me the fuck home. And yeah, it's.
You have another Bronco thing soon?
Probably.
You get them every 6 months?
I think I have one scheduled for
December maybe?
January or February, because I think it was 7 or 8 months before the first test back, and they were tripping. They're like, we haven't seen you since. Like, what's going on? And then everything was good. But yeah, that's gonna be my life for at least 5 years. Every 6 months. They do
that for 5 years until
crazy. I've been getting one thing too, and this definitely isn't for everybody, but I constantly try to give myself panic attacks and anxiety attacks via cannabis edibles. And I had one the other night, and I say I constantly try because I want to get obliterated, right? I don't try for the panic attack, anxiety attack. I'd like to walk the line, but like there's always that tipping point where it's like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Oh my God, I have one lung. And then it goes downhill, you know? But it's funny to me now outside of it, right? Because I'm freaking out in the moment. Legitimately afraid, right? Like tunnel vision starts. I'm like, oh my God, I can feel like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Oh my God, after this, I need to stop smoking. But then when you make it out of it, you're like, whoa, I made it through the fucking waves, through the storm, right? And now it's definitely self-induced, and I know I'm going to make it out. So there's kind of like a cheat code. But after those, the next couple of days, man, are always like, fuck yes. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here and to not feel like that right now. But I mean, it's funny because it's like can be self-induced, the storm that you put in your life, and a lot of shit will come up. Yeah. A lot of shit will come up. And, you know, you gotta wither through it. You gotta fucking find your way. You gotta sail through that storm, man. And sometimes it's fucking scary. This last one was fucking scary. And luckily Morgan was there to help me and calm me down, but she had some edibles too. So she was kind of quietly tripping about me tripping. And I felt so bad finding out about that. But, it just, you know, I'm not telling anybody to do that, right? But maybe do that. Maybe try it. Honestly, because nothing can happen. I hate saying it like this, but I've tried to overdose on weed. I've tried to find that limit. I've smoked a whole ounce in a day. I've smoked like quarter pounds in weeks, like trying to fucking do it, right? Let's see how fucking obliterated we can get. Eating grams of edibles, right? You just go to sleep. You just go to sleep and you wake up every time. You just can't. So it's kind of fun getting to that edge point and peeking over the mountain, peeking over the cliff, like, oh shit. And then you always find your way back. But that test, I think it's good.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's good. I really do. Because every time you come out better.
Yeah.
There's not a time that I've gone in and come out worse for it. I come out thankful. Mm-hmm. And it's because of strife in your life right away, right now. Here it is. You got to look at it because you can't stop thinking about it until you go to sleep and wake up. And then you're like, fuck, oh my God. And I don't know. Again, I'm not telling anybody to do it, but maybe try it. Maybe try it. If you can handle edibles, try it. Give it a try. Have 1 or 2 extra. And then when you make it out, think about how thankful you are.
Yeah.
But a lot of people get scared and never want to go back there. And I totally get that. Ever tell you when I thought satellites were going to fall out of the sky?
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get that. I didn't eat edibles for a while after that. Yeah.
I had remember those like wax bowl pens they had?
Yeah. Oh,
there
yeah.
was like a bowl on top. It was like
Oh
a
yeah, yep. the
had-
dry herb, but
yeah.
you could also put like crumble and shit in there.
We had one of those one time, and I remember how bad it got. That I was laying on the couch and I was texting my friends, and I was like, "If this doesn't go away, like, how do I figure out how to make this go away?" Because I was like in the fetal position on the couch.
You're way too analytical too.
Yeah,
you need a solution.
I'm like Googling, how do I stop getting high?
Oh
I'm a problem solver. It's the worst thing ever.
I know. You see a problem or there's a problem in your life, you need a solution fast.
Yeah, but that was, and then I didn't smoke a pen after for a long time because of how anxious I got.
For sure. That wax is nuts.
Wax should be illegal.
It's a drug. It's a drug.
Yeah,
Because
I know guys that are addicted to doing dabs.
Yeah. When they come into the store, you know exactly who they are.
Yeah. You know, your casual weed smoker from your dabber.
Dude, I need what extractions you got, bro? I need terpy. It's like, chill, man, chill. We got you.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't. Different walks of life, man. Different strokes for different folks, right? Whatever happened to that? The one show, I forget what it's called, but he was like a blatant racist. But that was the joke of the show. They just knew back then that was the joke.
Yeah.
He had to work with black people every day on set. Of course he isn't really racist.
No, it was the
but
show.
there's the show.
Yeah.
And then the Jeffersons started from that because he was the black dude in it, and then he didn't like the white guy, and they were constantly, where's the humor? Why is humor gone?
Humor's gone because of sensitivity.
Right, but that's what humor is. It's taking that reach.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people have never tried to go for that joke that's really risky.
Yeah.
Right? And if it lands, you got the room buzzing. But if it doesn't, 30 people are looking at you like, why the fuck did you say that?
Yeah.
Right? And there's like a rush that goes into that. And it's almost like the people that are too afraid to do that are now chastising the people that aren't.
Have you watched Gabriel Iglesias' new special?
I haven't.
So it's good. It's funny. I like Gabriel because he's not like, he doesn't get into politics. He doesn't get into like,
he's not dirty
sex
at all.
stuff.
No.
He doesn't get into any of that. Like his comedy's pretty good.
Yeah.
He said that he got they were trying to cancel culture was kind of attacking him, saying like, you need to apologize for all the things you did, like in old specials that you said. And he was like, absolutely not. He goes, it was okay at that time. And then I saw the other days, they asked Snoop Dogg, would you go back? And
he said, no, fuck
he said,
them hoes.
fuck no. He's like, that was okay at the time.
Right.
Like, so that's like, that was a big thing that I'm like, damn, a lot of things are just not okay anymore.
Yeah, and probably for good reason.
No, probably for sure for good reason.
Right.
But there's probably a good bit of it that it's like, now you're probably getting a little too sensitive.
There's
about
always
things.
diminishing returns, right? And humans never think about that.
No.
I'm finally watching Dope Sick. Again, diminishing returns, right? Oxycontin seemed to be the best thing for pain ever. It was legitimately helping these motherfuckers. But because they lied about it in such a way that it was misused so badly that it became the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it changed America.
That was the diminishing return.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's almost, there's like that in everything. Bayer made heroin. Bayer aspirin came out with heroin. They used to sell it in a bottle.
That's crazy.
Yeah, early 1900s. It's actually a wild picture. I can't look it up. I don't get any service in here. But yeah, I think they made it at the same time that they made aspirin, but heroin was so addictive that they just went the aspirin route because they were like, this is not good, but it was an opiate and it was sold by Bayer, the Bayer, the big famous company. So it's crazy because there was obviously a point of diminishing returns where they eventually had to go, okay, this is too much, right? But that's the human thing. Capitalism, okay, diminishing returns. We're shitting on people for money, right?
Yeah.
You can't eat money. That's the best quote. Once you figure out that you can't eat money, you realize you fucked up, right? You realize you sacrificed everything else for that. But humans, it's like the human condition. The human aspect of everything is fucked, right? Diminishing returns on edibles. I try it every time. Like it's crazy how we just abuse shit like that.
Yeah.
Abuse people, abuse objects, abuse money, abuse power, abuse like it's crazy. You could write a human handbook and like talk about different instincts that humans have, and I guarantee you could categorize everybody you know,
Oh, for sure.
right? Like within like 5 or 6 categories probably.
Well, isn't that what like neurotic, like narcissist? That's what those are.
Are they?
I think those are like categories you can
Classifications.
place classifications of people in.
That makes sense.
Like he has neurotic behaviors, he has narcissistic behaviors, he has
manic, that
you
type
know
of shit.
absolutist behaviors, right?
That's interesting, man. It's
Absolutism is pretty cool.
which one's that?
The all or nothing mentality that people have.
Do you think those are the people that make it far?
I think they're the people who make it far but destroy a lot of things along the way.
Now, they're not. What's that called? Like they're mutually exclusive. Like you think that always happens?
No, but I think like if you adopt like an all or nothing mentality in something, there's a huge sacrifice at something else to get to that, right?
yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
that's like what you're doing, right?
Yeah, like people like forgetting about their families.
Yeah,
on their
all or
climb up.
nothing,
Yeah.
right? Prep, fuck my family, like
Hardcore
yeah,
weightlifting.
Yeah, so it's like that absolutist mentality is something that you have to like walk a fine line around because it can get really ugly really fast. We were talking about that with our assistant coaches. They were asking, Nicole Derdarian asked, do you feel bad for what you do? Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah, bare heroin.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I know, it's nuts.
Nicole asked about, do you feel bad about people coming to you for prep and knowing mentally it's going to mess them up? Drugs are involved, their health is involved, like all these things. And I was like, I used to. I was like, I don't feel morally connected to it anymore, because I started to realize that this was 100% voluntary thing that
Right.
they decided to ask me to guide them to do. And then on top of that, I morally know when to pull a plug. There's a lot of coaches that don't pull that plug,
Right.
and people get to the point where they probably should have, right? Like I've had to a couple times this past year, and it wasn't. And a different coach would have just pushed them through it.
Just got him to stage.
Just got them to the stage. I'm willing enough to pull the plug to say, hey, man, like, or hey, dude, like, this isn't.
We don't need to do this.
No, we're done. Like, so I told her, I was like, no, I don't feel bad about that anymore. But I told her one thing that I do to help ease that a lot, because she was telling me, like, the mental aspect of, like, transitioning from prep to out of prep, right? Institutionalized for 16 weeks. Versus now into the real world.
Wow.
That's a thing that I try to help with, right? I try to get rid of my absolutism on them. Like, I want you at 100% for 16 weeks.
Right.
The day that show's over, it's, hey, dude, it's okay to have a cheat meal or two this week. Like, get rid of that absolutism, and they ease back into life a little bit easier.
It's like forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you. The reward is you listened to me for 16 weeks, and you followed the plan, and now we get to kind of relax,
And get back. You know, even when they mess up, after the prep's done, it's all right. You messed up. Fuck getting 100% this week. Let's get to 80% this week.
Right.
Like
That's our
how
new goal.
That's how I like to approach that, because it's very hard for people who haven't done it before to go from prep to real world, because they're so routine based. They're institutionalized, literally.
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as you said that, I never thought of it like
They're
that.
institutionalized for that 4-month period, and now they're let out of prison, and now they have to figure out what to do, and that's where like really bad reverses happen with the dictatorship coaching versus like, I'll be super flexible with you, but just communicate with me. Right. Don't ghost me. Let me help you through this transition.
Right.
And I'll help you with that.
Now, is that from experience, or do you think that's just kind of who you are as well?
Both.
Yeah. That's who you are now through experience, probably?
Yeah. Exactly. Like, I had my really bad reverses.
Right.
And the coach that was helping me at the time stomped on me while I was down. I'm never doing that to somebody.
Right.
But I had to experience that in order to know that that wasn't the way it needed to be done, right? And then I started listening to other coaches. I started listening to more successful coaches in the terms of like their clients liking them, not just a prize,
Right.
Successful. I'm kind of over that whole thing. I don't want to have an Olympian if I have to get that Olympian in a really disgusting way.
Right.
In a really cringy way. I don't want that. I don't want dude, we were talking about this the other day. I was like, pro cards, right? Yeah, I have a bunch. I've won, whatever. But like, what happens the next day? Nobody fucking remembers.
Yeah. And
nobody
in
cares.
In the real world, they don't know that you're a professional bodybuilder. No.
And
That's like postpartum depression almost. You've taken on this identity as prepping competitor, and as soon as the show ends, how many times have you heard of post-show depression?
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's because your identity's gone.
The identity fades and both ends, right? Postpartum and post-show, hormones are everywhere.
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Everywhere, dude. Like everywhere. And that's something that you have to help that person through. You don't kick them while they're down.
Right.
What's the number one thing you don't say to somebody who's having anxiety? Why do you have anxiety? What are you anxious about? Right. Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Or I get it.
Yeah.
Like those are the worst things to say to somebody.
Yeah, don't try to
Don't try to don't.
I have anxiety too because of this.
Yeah,
Cool, motherfucker. I'm trying to deal with this.
Yeah, so you have to help through that.
Right.
And that's like that post-show transition. Like I have 3 people who are first-time competitors competing in 2 weeks. That's going to be a big undertaking on my end, right?
Right, because
they're very good competitors. All 3 of them have been exceptional through prep. No slip-ups. Perfect. Effort's really high. Like I could tell their physiques show that.
Right.
Right? Now it's after this show's done, this is where we're going to have to put in a lot of work. Prepping people is almost easy to me at this point.
Right.
It's the after point where it's like, this is where the real work is.
It's
because
like the psychological
I need
factor.
them to make sure, I need to make sure that they are psychologically good after the show is done.
For sure.
Because that's more important to me. Because I know bodybuilding is a small fraction of time in somebody's lifespan.
Now, to me, that's like what a real coach is.
That's what coaching is.
A coach is like influencer now.
Yeah.
It's undertaking this whole new meaning.
Yeah.
You're not really a coach. Any coach that I've had a personal connection with as well.
Yeah.
Right? They've scolded me on the team, taught me on the team, but also pulled me aside like, hey, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Why are you fighting your teammates today? Why are you doing like what's going on?
But that's coaching.
Right. But not a lot of people have real coaching experience or are real coaches. They just call themselves one.
Yeah. But, whatever. It is whatever.
Right.
They fizzle. They fade really quickly.
Yeah.
Everyone sees them who they really are pretty fast. Right.
If not, Goob's going to find you.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my God, dude.
But like that's like, that was something that, now it was a good conversation to have with those mentees. They were able to, that's backtrack because Nicole asked a question and then I divulged into it over a video call and they all got to listen to that. And, you can walk away with something to learn from that because she's about to have her first prep client. She's never prepped anybody before. One of her clients wants to prep and I don't know if she's worried about these things, but she knows if she continues prepping people, this is going to happen eventually, right? You're going to have the person who falls off really hard or mentally just isn't handling prep well or, something like that. Which coach do you want to be? Do you want to be the one that has some morals and wants to pull the plug? Or are you going to be the one that pushes them to the wall that makes them regret ever doing a prep?
Yeah, a lot of people think that quitting is regretting, but
see, I don't, and when I have conversations with people in prep where I know their prep is better off not happening, and they say I don't want to quit, I tell them you're not quitting.
Right.
You're pausing.
Yeah, there's shows.
There's a show every other
not
weekend.
Giving up. Yeah, you're not giving up.
You're not. There's no give up at this point, right? That's a mental thing, right?
100%.
But I think that takes a really mature person to understand that. If I was prepping and Cam told me, hey man, we're not doing this, you're not going to be ready in 4 weeks, like I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Like something went wrong, whether it was my doing, maybe my body just wasn't responding, something went wrong, I can accept that and move on. But a lot of people tell me like, I don't want to quit. I'm like, you're not quitting. You have to realize that there's things you have to place. You have to prioritize right now and prepping it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
whether it's financially, whether it's mentally, those need more priority than getting on stage right now.
Right. For a competition you're going to pay for. Yeah.
Somebody the other day was like, "What do you do for work?" And I was like, when people ask me that, I don't say I'm a nutritionist. I say I get people ready for bodybuilding competitions. This is plain and simple, right? You went to my Instagram, you wouldn't think I'm a lifestyle coach. You think I'm a bodybuilding coach.
Right.
And that's what I told them. They're like, wow, that's amazing. What do they get when they win? And I said, well, it depends.
Yeah.
You know, I coach pros. So if the pro wins, they get money.
Right.
Right. If amateur wins, it depends on what level. And they're like, so what is that? Do they win money? And I'm like, no, they get a trophy.
A sword and a trophy.
And then they're like, oh, so does it cost them money? And I'm like, a lot.
Yeah, bodybuilding's a bad dynamic.
Horrible.
Like, yeah. It's a horrible dynamic.
Costs to get a tan,
You're
to
right.
do the show, to
The
get your
food.
NPC card,
Yeah.
to get your like NPC card, get a backstage pass. Hey, Dom, do you have your NPC card? I need an NPC card to get a backstage pass. So I got to pay the NPC $150 and then pay you $100
To get backstage.
to get backstage.
Crazy.
But I just brought 7 people to this show that all paid $125 a pop. That all brought 4 to 5 guests with them,
Right.
and paid $45 to sit in there. But I got to pay this $100 to get backstage. Other states, a lot of those coaches. What's up, bro? How are you? Here, I got a seat with your name on it. You can go backstage.
Well, we've always said that there's Michigan bodybuilding is
Yeah.
so-so. Well, and so-so's putting it nice. I just don't want
Yeah.
to get you in trouble. I know, but again, I care
Yeah.
about you.
No, I know.
So I have
I know.
to, you know,
I know.
if
I'm putting
this
my
was-
emotions away right
if
now.
this was 6 or 7 years ago, I wouldn't give a fuck. I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm
glad
putting
I don't
my-
have this platform then.
I'm putting my emotions away
Yeah,
now.
good.
But that was something that we were talking about, and he was mind blown because he was like, "So is this just like a passion thing?" And I was like, "Essentially, yeah, it is."
And it's worked out.
And it's worked out, you know, for the competitors and you know,
Right,
coaching wise. Like,
Well, you've definitely started a wave. Like, it's definitely not the like burgers and fries prep.
I think that
peak
shit's
meal.
gone, dude.
I know, but it started with you in Michigan. In my perspective, I didn't know of another coach doing that during peak week.
Yeah.
It was always a burger and fries. Every coach I ever heard, it's a burger and fries. There's still coaches that do burgers and fries in Michigan. What? Just go to Five Guys and get whatever you want. That's bonkers, dude. That's bonkers.
yeah,
And especially now, they can be presented with information that proves that wrong. and they'll
there's too
still
much
do it.
information for a coach to still be doing stupid shit.
I know, but it still happens.
And not even from me. Like, go get, like, there's so many different avenues of education. now.
free too.
Free.
And that's
Did you
crazy.
see JP took his whole education series that was behind a paywall on his website and put it on YouTube for free now.
Wow. Why not though?
Just fucking watch the video.
Yeah, I mean, look at you got like PhD level people like Mike Israetel putting up
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
Oh, but you don't train to failure.
Right.
He's 250 fucking pounds,
Right,
dude. And
right.
he's strong as fuck.
Strong as fuck.
And he lives deep. He lives heavy, and he lives with fucking exceptional form.
Form is it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Everything else is a stimulus.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Is there's so many different levels of this shit that
Yeah.
you can find your avenue any which way.
People just don't want to be taught
No.
differently than what they believe in, right? I was like recently having kind of presented an opportunity, been beating around the bush with people about it and talking, and then I come to find out that this opportunity might not happen because they feel intimidated by me. Because if it comes out that I'm the one doing all the educating, but that individual is not, and people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
You know,
It could sour
it could sour
what they've already
what they've
their
made,
perception
and
already.
Yeah. So like that's like And what is that? That's
Ego.
I don't want people to know you're smarter than me.
Yep, it's ego.
Yeah.
Hands down. That's nuts, man.
And you know what though? I will say that felt fucking really good.
Yeah, hell yeah.
For me to know that that is a reason why you don't want me around.
Yeah, and it's funny because like it's boosting your ego.
Yeah, fuck yeah. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah. But I mean, why not? Take it again. As soon as you stop denying it,
Yeah,
it feels so much better.
Feels so much better.
It's liberating.
Yeah.
When you don't have these lies surrounding you.
Yeah.
It's fucking liberating. It makes life so much easier and more peaceful and relaxing. Like I know when I post, if I get a like, that shit feels good. If I get a comment that's praising me, that shit feels good. As superficial as it may be. But to deny it is just causing conflict in your own brain because you're saying like it doesn't feel good, yet your brain's response is naturally making you feel good. So it's like, what is this? What game are we playing?
I read something the other day. It said, "Stop comparing your life to people who recycle pictures."
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
Big one. How sad do you think they really are in real life? Yeah, I mean. One time I remember seeing somebody that I like not looked up to, but I remember thinking that they were like out of reach. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're already on this level. And then I saw them working in the mall. And I was like, oh, fuck, of course, you're just a human. You just put more effort into this one aspect.
that makes you look a certain way.
So you're known too amongst this one aspect. And then, but that one aspect doesn't really translate well into your life. And that was when I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Right. And funny enough, this past week, something like that came up, because one of Jenna's friends talking about Dylan said, Dylan's the adult you call to get advice you don't want to hear. Cause he'll just tell you he's very smart. He won't hold back if that's what you want. Right. Again, another thing, if that's what you want. Right. There's a big thing there that I've learned recently, but he told me not to sell the shirts that I made. He's like, don't do it, bro. He's like, you don't have enough people that believe in you to sell the shirt. It looks gross. It makes it look like you've got like this number and all of a sudden you want to make money off of them. Why do you buy a shirt? You don't buy a shirt anymore because you fucking want it or because you need a shirt, because it's a comfortable shirt. No, you buy it because you support this.
Yeah.
You want that. Right? We're way past I need a comfortable shirt.
Yeah.
We're way past. Everybody's got the same shit. The same shit. It's all screen printed shit. Nobody's out there sewing shirts, making their own shit. So like you have to make people believe in you so that they support your movement. And hearing that, it made me realize I don't think I want that.
It's a responsibility.
Yeah, big time. And I'm not the one to be following. You do not want to follow me. But the thing that I said like was big, and then I realized, right, one thing I found recently, and I forget who said it, but it made sense to me because I'm a problem solver too. A lot of the times when somebody brings me advice, I used to hold it on or hold myself to I'm the friend as well that will tell you what you don't want to hear, right? But sometimes people just want to vent.
So
sometimes people don't want to.
They don't want the problem.
No, I don't
solving.
need you to solve this shit. And now before somebody comes to me, I ask them that. Like as they're coming to me, I go, okay, before I respond, are you venting to me or do you want me to help you try to solve this? And watch how much conflict is erased from your life.
Yeah.
Because people sometimes just need to vent, even if it's stupid as fuck, even if they know they're wrong and they know they're wrong. And that's sometimes the reason why they want to get it out.
Yeah. So one of the, I don't know if it was Carrie or Nicole, one of our assistant coaches brought that up and was like, I think it was like women clientele was like, I think men naturally are just problem solvers.
That makes sense.
And a man coach and a woman athlete, you run into that a lot where it's like, no, dude, I don't, there's not a problem at hand. I just need to get this out.
I just need to vent.
I just need to vent. I just need to talk. That's crazy that you just, because you literally said that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
that like some people just aren't looking for that problem solving. They just need to talk.
They just need to talk.
They just need to talk, and sometimes just talking out loud for them solves it for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
It opens their eyes up enough to be like, oh wait, like now I see why this is happening.
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to say a word.
No.
You just had to do some ears.
Just let them come back to the solution.
Yeah.
Because most people are smart enough.
Yeah.
Most people that I associate myself with are smart enough to figure it out on themselves.
Yeah.
By themselves. And if there's one thing that I learned this past 2 weeks, it's fine tuning who you give your time to. Fine tuning who I give a fuck, who gives a fuck about me. Because I would be, lying if I said I didn't care what Morgan thinks about me, or if I didn't care what Dylan thinks about me. I wholeheartedly do. Now, if I come to them and I'm all of a sudden a religious zealot and they don't believe in that, they're not just going to shun me, right? They're still going to love me for who I am. That is, without a doubt, the most important thing in my life now, is realizing that I am loved from people that I love. And that is so liberating and so relieving. I've done nothing but like purge this past like week and a half, like just crying like a fucking baby because I'm finally facing everything that happened.
Yeah.
Finally realizing like, holy shit, I went through some shit, and I'm so lucky to be here. So blessed to be here. So thankful to be here. Like I need to not, I don't know. I need to not be constrained by caring what people think, right? Unless it's people I care about.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's important to humans. You should take the advice of other people you hold to a certain standard, right? If you told me I was fucking up, I have no choice but to listen. I have no choice but to now think about that because I respect you. But if you take on this mindset that nobody matters or no opinion matters but your own, that you're the main character, man, that just seems like a miserable life. It really does. It seems like a miserable life. And I bet I would be willing to bet that that's why a lot of people are like depressed and sad and anxious, right? Because they don't have an outlet. They don't have somebody that they believe cares in them like that.
Yeah. I think that it's loneliness. I think that drives a lot of that.
Yeah.
You could have a lot of friends, but you could be super lonely.
Super lonely in a crowd of people.
Yeah.
Right.
Because nobody hears you. Nobody listens to you.
But I feel like that's because you've
probably pushed everybody away at that point.
Or
you're not letting anybody in.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you're so afraid that they may hurt you that you don't allow them in.
It's like you have too much of a guard up.
Yeah, now you've created this dome around you where you're the only one in it. And I think I was there. I think I was at that point at one point in my life. And I disguised it as stoicism. But stoicism doesn't mean that you're absent from feelings.
No.
It means you deal with feelings. It means you recognize feelings, see them for what they are,
And accept them.
and keep it going.
Yeah.
And I think I was disguising it as like an absence of feelings.
I think that's a really good thing that a lot of people could probably take away is when you feel an emotion, admit that you're feeling that emotion.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to.
Like I had a competitor before he was getting on stage. Are you nervous? And I could see somebody nervous from a mile away at this point, right?
Right.
I've walked this walk 100 times. And he hesitated to tell me yes. And I was like, it's okay. Admit that you're nervous. The longer you fight that, the more conflicted your head's going to get the rest of this time here. Say I am.
Yeah.
And that's it. Move on from it. Because if you keep that shit bottled up, like you're just building pressure in that bottle and eventually that cap's going to pop off.
Yeah.
And that's where like you need to just, if you're feeling anxious, I'm feeling anxious. If you're feeling depressed, I'm feeling depressed. Are you feeling lonely? I am feeling lonely. Like you have to admit those things and accept that you feel that way. Because if you do, you're more in tune with your emotions. You're more emotionally aware.
Yeah.
And when you're an emotionally aware person, you can figure out why you do things because of that.
Yeah, 100%.
Emotional awareness is a big reason why we have behaviors, a lot of the reason why we have behaviors is based on an emotion. If we become emotionally aware, we could maybe fix that behavior.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's 100% real.
Yeah.
That's 100% real. Damn. Yeah,
But that's a really hard thing to do.
it is because I wanted to be comfortable giving that speech, right? But I wasn't. I was so afraid. I don't like speaking in front of people. But for Dylan or Joe, I'd fucking speak in front of thousands, right? If I had to. But I told Josh, he asked me, he goes, "Are you nervous?" I go, "I'm freaking the fuck out, man. And I need to read this to you to make sure that it's good." Right? I needed another voice that I trust in to hear it. I said it to Morgan. I trust her. She said it was good. But now I needed Joshy, who knows Dylan a little better. Is this good? And I read it for him. And he looked at me. He goes, "Be proud of that." He goes, "Say that willingly and happily." And now after Dylan fucking threw me off on the reading thing, I didn't want to read it word for word. So I was fucking like using bullet points. So it was a little bit off. But, you know, it was still easier, you know, after Joshy said that. And it's as simple as somebody in your circle just giving you that little reinforcement, but that genuine reinforcement.
Reinforcement.
You know, he's not just saying, "Oh, it's good."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you take a chance. It's good. It was genuine reinforcement of like, "You got this. Be proud of that." And I read it to him, and and I said, "Let's go." And we walked right in that bitch together. It was dope. But like that was, you know, it set the tone.
Feels good.
Set the tone. Yeah. And I think a lot of people deny that. They deny that friendship, that camaraderie, because they wanna be weary in case this person hurts them. Right.
What if Josh told you it sucked? Right.
It would have sucked. I would have been so afraid.
People rather just avoid that situation all and just not talk to anybody.
And Josh told me too to take a part out. We agreed. Like I I could probably go without that. He goes, "I would."
Yeah.
Deleted right away. Right.
See, that's
100% though. But again, that only comes from me caring actually what Josh cares about me or what he thinks about me. Mm-hmm. And why is that so frightening for people? For me too. Why is it so frightening? Is it because they might hurt you? Do you think?
Probably.
We're such a weird fucking animal. We're so weird. These emotions. Imagine having no emotions. Ignorance is bliss. Right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't have a clue about Vladimir Putin and his fucking nukes. Imagine you just didn't know.
This wouldn't be nothing.
It would be nothing.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. That's why I try to stay in my lane as much as I can. When people are talking about this guy, I don't ask who it is.
You don't want to know because once you open that can of worms,
man, plausible deniability is a beautiful thing too. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Well, you were right next to him while he was talking that shit. Yeah, but I didn't ask a single question, so I don't know anything. But yeah, man, it's humans. It's so hard living sometimes, but it's so fun and easy and beautiful at the same time.
I think one of the things that like I think I've started to do is like. I think I've just stopped worrying about other people.
But that's because you know who you are.
But I think it's like I'm at a point, I'm at a chapter and a point in my life where there's nobody that's in my life right now that I feel like I need to worry about because I know they're in. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like all the people that I surround myself around right now, I'm at a point where we're all on the same page to where if we all needed help from each other, we could do that, but we don't have to worry about each other at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then there's like, you know, there's a select few people in our lives that like their problems are our problems kind of thing. Right. But the people outside of that, that's when I've literally just wiped clean because it's like I'm wasting energy caring or trying to fix why the fuck you think like that or trying to help you with that problem but is it really, it's not my fight anymore. Right. There's a small select few people that it's your fight still. Right. Like that Kevin Hart fucking thing I sent you. Like,
right.
The day you signed up to be my best friend, my problems became your problems. Your problems became my problems. But like, that's that small ass little bit of circle that is actually like that. Everybody else, I've just stopped worrying about them.
But why do you think you stopped?
It's not my place anymore.
But what made you come to that realization?
I don't want it to be my place.
There it is. You have to actively avoid shit.
Yeah.
You have to actively put effort
I don't
things.
want it to be my responsibility. I don't want it to be my place.
Right.
Like I don't want the constant life advice from people all the time. I don't want to be that person.
But it takes
I want to be that person for who I want to be it for.
right.
But I don't want to. That's why I just don't worry about people anymore.
Well, it was emotional
Awareness.
It takes emotional awareness, effort, experience, all of this stuff to realize that you don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And if you're lacking on one thing, you might still want this or think you need this or think even subconsciously, right? Because if you're not emotionally aware, subconsciously you might like how that feels, right? I don't know why I like pissing people off, but I just constantly do it, right? Now I know why. It makes me happy. And like it makes me happy to fuck with people when they're so like sensitive towards something that doesn't even reflect in their entire lives, right? Like political people that take a side and it's like that person does not give a fuck about you and you're willing to spend most of your day arguing on their side. They don't care about you. You're not in their fucking, like, their scope of people that they care about. And they know that. And they use you for that. But that's that game.
Yeah. That's
If I was in that game, that's how I would play. Think about us on social media. We don't do anything crazy. The craziest thing you do is share the post to your story. Right? That's like the most influential influencer thing that you may do.
Yeah.
Other than like your profound ideas or your profound like little things that you post out, but they're good. You're a coach. You should have your clients feeling good seeing these mental gems that you drop, right? It would be silly for me to start doing that. I don't have any clients. I don't need my followers to know this shit. That would be just outside of my realm.
Yeah.
But somebody might see you doing that, seeing a like, seeing a share. Oh shit, so-and-so shared that. Well, now I have to be profound. Because now my profound thoughts are going to get shared by that circle as well, or potentially get shared by that circle, or maybe that gets me into that circle. Wanting that is not knowing who you are, though, right?
Mm-hmm. You have no identity yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that I might laugh or call you a cornball sometimes, some corny that you might say, but it's like corny to me, right? Because I don't need you telling me that.
Yeah.
But as a coach, some people need to hear that. Some people need to read that. Some people need to know that that's how you think.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I can come to Dom. It seems like he's a very like peaceful thinker. Like he's not going to chastise me for something unless you're 3 weeks out of prep and do something fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
Situational.
But again, yes, you're a coach, experience. You know you got to coach.
There's a moment where I have to grab you by the face mask and pull you in.
Yes.
And there's a moment where we talk.
And we got to talk like this, motherfucker. Yeah. But and I don't know if that's just living life through years or it's because of who you are as a human, right? Because I know people older than both of us that aren't here yet mentally, right? And it's not that they've lacked experience. They've just lacked the awareness of realizing what the gravity of this experience, right?
I don't know.
It's been a cool fucking 2-3 weeks, man. It's been a really fucking fun time for me.
It has. Even for me, it has been too, which
I know we've
nice.
barely even talked.
Yeah, we said that the other day.
Yeah, because we just both have shit going on, and you're somebody I talk to every day.
Yeah. And then we went like a couple of days without talking, and I was like, this is weird.
That chat only had like 1 or 2 little things.
Well, I knew you were at the wedding and out of town, so I wasn't gonna bug you.
No, yeah, but I mean, it's not even like
it's not bugging you, but it's like I know he's busy.
Yeah.
You let him do his thing. You let him enjoy his time with everybody.
Yeah, that's like yesterday. I was looking at the mushrooms, so I texted you.
Yeah.
But you know, it's I don't know. It's cool, man. It really is cool because we can just come back here, and it was like yesterday. There could have been another podcast.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people need to really buckle down on getting that circle, getting that friend, getting these people. We're a tribal animal. We really are.
We have to be surrounded. If you're alone, it's hard to get anywhere.
Nobody's climbed a mountain by themselves. I like that.
No one's reached the peak of a mountain alone.
That's it. That's what we're leaving it today.
See you guys next week.
Love you, brother.